hungry. I want some chicken, man.
Yeah, me too, man. I've been eating all day. I need to eat lunch, man.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I think about chicken, some church chicken. What do you think about that?
Churches sound good. What time is it?
It's 5 p.m. Don't know what to get for dinner. 2-piece, 3-piece, maybe those tenders. Church's new item on the scale was a tenner.
Spicy chicken?
Yeah, that sounds like a win. Mouth is on fire. The slit started dripping. I just ate some of that spicier.
Spicy chicken?
Get it by itself or add some sides. Mashed potatoes, coleslaw, okra, or some fries. Cajun rice, a biscuit, maybe mac and cheese. My tongue was heated up to 1,000 degrees. I was burning up, didn't think twice. Grabbed me a sweet tea with a whole lot of ice. Popeyes, Boston Market, or KFC. Now Churches is the place to be. Let me get a 2-piece of biscuit in the side. Give me a breast, 2 legs, or some thighs. Got some honey mustard ranch and barbecue sauce. Grabbed my meal to go and gave that to the boss. Opened the bag to make sure that it was alright. Then I had a spicy
chicken
that night. Mouth is on fire. The slit started dripping. I just ate some of that spicier.
Spicy chicken?
Get it by itself or add some sides. Mashed potatoes, coleslaw, okra, or some fries. Cajun rice, a biscuit, maybe mac and cheese. My tongue was heated up to 1,000 degrees. I was burning up, didn't think twice. Grabbed me a sweet tea with a whole lot of ice. It's the spicier spicy.
Chicken.
It's the spicier spicy.
Chicken.
It's the spicier spicy.
Spicy chicken?
It's the spicier spicy.
Chicken.
Stay tuned for a very important announcement regarding food poisoning.
The carrots, the peas, the celery sticks, the meat and the fish will make you sick.
All the food is poison. All the food is poison.
The apples, tomatoes, wheat and the corn, all the food is poison. Don't eat the food, it's poison food.
All the food is poison. All the food is poison.
The onions, the pickles and the melons too. Even the pasta and the turkey are contaminated food. Don't eat the food.
All the food is poison. All the food is poison.
Chicken,
Poison.
barley,
Poison.
white rice, baked beans, duck orange,
Poison.
sunflower seeds,
Poison.
radicchio, hummus, oranges,
Poison.
Hass avocado,
Poison.
your dad's barbecue brisket,
Poison.
horse meat,
Poison.
snout, little babies,
Poison.
fingernails, cigarette burn,
Poison.
scabs,
Poison.
napple.
Poison.
Try to figure out something else to eat. I'm out of here.
Poison.
You can't mess around with imagination. Today's Wonder Chosen was brought to you by Savory and Fun.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about the wait.
How did they make the pastry so crisp?
Hello,
Hey.
hello, hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello,
you hear me?
hello.
Ayo.
Hello.
Ayo, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I was watching a bunch of Sundance movies yesterday.
Yeah, I
How's
saw
that
your
going?
My what?
I saw all your ratings for those. I'm interested to see how they are.
Yeah, there were some good ones. I've still got more to watch, but I'm limited to the online selection.
Are you going to watch a movie called Jane Shelburne's new movie?
If it's in the online selection, let's see.
I saw the
Oh no,
TV
it's
Globe.
not. I know it's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's only in person. I would have, but yeah.
I really liked World's Fair. That was a good movie.
I'm really excited for her new movie.
Yeah, that was
I
solid.
never see. I want to see it at some point. I did just. 3 hours ago, I saw Zone of Interest finally. So now I've seen all the Best
Oh.
Picture noms.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Zone,
Yeah, me too.
Zone of Interest is incredible. It's
Man.
like
it's
I
really
plan
on
great.
seeing
It's my.
that soon.
It's my
I'm
second.
glad. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say it's my second favorite behind Poor Things, and I really loved Zone of Interest, but it did make me feel like shit at the end. So but I really loved it a lot.
I'm glad
Mhm.
Glazer finally got recognition by the Academy because he's such an art house director.
He is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not to
like-
mention it's his third film
When
in his
Haneke got
filmography
nominated,
because of his.
it's like the same thing.
yeah, it's cool. It doesn't really
Jay, you
doesn't
have
really
your
seem
hand
like-
up. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment about the last session we had, and I mistaken Everything Everywhere at Once as an edgy picture, and although I was definitely wrong about that, I'm sure
Is
there
it
was some
supposed to be on BRB still?
I forgot.
Okay.
Oops.
All right, 1 second.
Yeah, I just want to make a correction about the whole discussion about Oscar nominations that are considered edgy, even though there's probably few in the Best Picture category, but I know one in the foreign language category is considered edgy, like Dogtooth from Yorgos Lanthimos.
I just watched that this week.
It's the
Oh,
only
cool.
Yorgos I haven't seen.
Was
yet.
Dogtooth nominated for
Yep.
foreign language?
And I
Yeah.
was like,
wow.
it's kind of shocking. I feel like if Dogtooth was nominated, Titan definitely could have been nominated.
I'm
Oh,
so
God,
glad.
yeah.
How
No,
many Oscar
because
noms have?
Titan
sorry.
was more of like explicitly a horror film, whereas Dogtooth was more like a drama.
I couldn't tell what genre Dogtooth was. I thought it was a comedy for most of it.
Hmm.
I
I
would
I think
argue
I saw
most of
Dogtooth
his
knowing
films are,
after
to an
seeing The
extent, black
Lobster and
comedies.
Killing of a Sacred Deer, so I kind of get the gist of what his films are known for. Although I still haven't seen Alps, which I know is considered his least favorable one out of the bunch.
How many Oscar noms does he have?
Well, he got nominated for The Favorite and Poor Things, and did he?
Lobster. Lobster. Original screenplay.
Did Lobster? Or did?
Oh,
Okay.
Lobster got screenplay nub. I didn't know that, huh?
You know, homie, I always think of him as super underrated, but he's kind of crushing it in the Oscar scene anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he is.
I was about
he's
to say that.
very
It all
much
started with a
recognized
period
at this
piece.
point.
It's a
That's
good
like
start to
five-
get award recognition.
4 Oscar noms for 4 projects out of like what,
I'm gonna
10?
be seeing Hundreds of Beavers tonight.
Nice.
I'm seeing Hundreds of
Nice.
Beavers next weekend with my brother and a friend, so that'll be fun.
I'm
I
still
think
trying
it's
to see if
like
Hundreds of Beavers
Toronto
is still
in
around the
February.
area that I'm at, but maybe it'll come around sooner or later.
I got lucky to find a theater that's playing. Hundreds of Beavers with the cast and crew are going to be at the screening, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And,
You're lucky for the Zone of Interest too. Honestly, most people still haven't seen it.
I had to
Yes.
drive like a whole fucking hour to get to see it, but it was worth it because it had the theater I went to had great sound mixers, so it worked out well for me
Oh
because
yeah, you're gonna need that.
because like I was like a lot of the theaters I go to don't have their best sound, but I went to one of the ones that did have good sound, so it worked out in my favor. I'm still thinking about Zone of Interest even after seeing it just 3 hours ago, and I've seen all the Best Picture noms. All except for Maestro were good, I'd say. Maestro was the only one I didn't like.
Yeah,
Well,
Maestro's the one I was gonna
whatever.
wait until I get Oscar
It's so
nominated,
boring.
but
At least I get to
now
do
it
a
is. I'm
watch
just kinda
along for
curious to
that.
see if it's worth it.
Does it
Also, I
suffer
find it
from just
funny
the same
that,
thing that every
wait.
biopic does lately, where it's like the
Yeah.
exact same structure?
Also, I find it funny that between Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall, it both stars 2 actresses by the name of Sandra Hüller.
I mean, that's the
That
same
is
person.
great here.
Same person.
and she's getting nominated for Anatomy of a Fall. And
Yeah.
I find it kind of a coincidence.
Well, she's just in 2 Oscar movies. It's happened
That is
before.
fun.
It's just funny because she's not like an Oscar person before
Regular.
this year.
She's really great.
I was surprised to see May December get a screenplay nod. May December was awesome. I thought, like, I'm glad it got it
loved it.
over Saltburn. Honestly,
I have not seen that yet either. Do we all agree that it should probably be Best Picture instead of Maestro?
I think it's better
or
than
what?
Maestro.
100%.
it's way better
It's
than
good.
Maestro. Maestro's like the only one on that list that I just don't like beyond there. Like even American Fiction, which I thought was like a barely good movie, like it felt like all the other ones were deserved. It's just Maestro just does not deserve to be on there compared to the rest.
I'm just surprised that
Maestro felt like it was constantly trying to tell me that it needs an Oscar.
I called it Tar at Home, basically. 'cause it
Don't
just felt-
almost all
It
biopics
was
feel that way lately, though,
so-
especially about like those kinds of celebrities.
Yeah.
I think there was a
Anyone who's,
video
like-
about how Maestro is basically Brad Cooper's Oscar bait movie, and there's some videos claiming that this is basically making him the bad guy just because he wants to be nominated or at least win the Oscars for Best Actor, all the while being rivaled against Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't
Killing
seen it
for
yet.
what?
But
Oh, for Oppenheimer?
It does seem like a vanity project.
Oppenheimer's gonna
Very
win most of the awards.
masturbatory.
Honestly, the only nom that like genuinely pisses me off is Indiana Jones getting a score nom. That shit just pisses me
Yeah,
off
what the
so
fuck
much.
is
That one's the worst
John
one.
What the
Williams'
fuck
last
is
score.
that?
Yeah, that's funny.
It's the one one movie I honestly expected to be there besides Oppenheimer was
What?
Dial of Destiny. It's not saying that I wanted it to be there. I just knew it was gonna be there based
There's
off
like
of
3 scores I could think of
John
that were
Williams' last
there's like
score.
three scores I could think of that are way better than Dial of Destiny, which is like Spider-Verse, Boy in the Heron, and Zone of Interest all had way better scores than
I would say
Dial of
May
Destiny
December
did.
as well. May December had a good
And
score.
May December also, I would put that I guess that's 4.
What do you guys think the Oscars is? You know, I think about this a lot of times when we see these nominations that don't make sense
Actually-
or that we don't agree with. It's like, to an extent, they have to be a body that is kind of deciding what are the movies that everyone expects us to nominate. And that's why I think we see a lot of overrepresentation of these big, like, Dial of Destiny type movies.
I guess that makes sense. I mean,
Are you saying
a-
like
it's a
who's the
second
ones like
win.
deciding these nominations? Because it's done by committee, but then the screeners themselves is like a whole different like.
But
I
what I
feel
mean
like
is,
that's a
like,
whole different area.
what's the guideline that they use to make the decision through? What is the
It's like
philosophy?
whatever
of it?
whoever campaigns the most and what
Yeah,
the
that's part of it.
Academy seems to like.
That's part of it for
I
sure.
looked
If
at
there's
some
a
of
passion-
the sorry.
If there's a passion for a certain movie, usually they go for it. Like for Zone of Interest, I think it barely got in purely out of passion.
And that's my point. Is I feel like they're, to an extent, I think that they want the Oscars to be filled with a lot of movies that people who aren't paying too hard of attention can go, oh yeah, I was wondering about that one.
I honestly feel like they're taking notes because I feel like the Academy is slowly changing with their selection of movies. I don't know. It seems.
I mean, yeah, it depends on the year, but they're getting
Yeah,
better.
it could just
Well,
be a
10 years
coincidence
ago,
this year. But
10 years
when was the last?
ago, like you wouldn't really see a foreign movie be in like the best picture.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when was
like,
the last time that
nomination.
3 mostly subtitled films were in Best Picture nominees? I can't really
Yeah.
think of.
That-
I think it's
that's also
awesome. I think it's
true.
awesome that all 3 of those movies got in. I
Yo,
love
what?
them all.
Past Lives, Zone of Interest, and Anatomy of a Fall. Those were the
Yeah,
3 sub.
yeah, they're all
Those
very
were all great. I
fantastic.
loved all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of do like a one for you, one for me thing. Sorry, Adam, what's up?
Kiki, what's up? Your hand's up.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like looking through the nominees now, and like one thing I was kind of hoping for was more acting noms for Zone of Interest because it's.
I have a thing to I have a thing to say about that, but I'll let you go.
Yeah, it's like for me, this movie just it's one of the closest things I've seen to like almost blurring the line between film and documentary in a way because like it's like the film is so I don't know if voyeuristic is the right word to use, but it's like that whole fly on the wall thing we have. It's one of those things where you really need good performances for a film like this.
For sure.
It's like
Yeah.
for me, like I love this movie a lot. It's one of those things where it's like it nails everything about being a film, but that almost comes secondary to what the film is trying to accomplish as its thesis.
Which can
And I
massively
just
backfire.
Hmm?
Which can massively backfire.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to get everything absolutely right about a film like this, or else you're fucked, basically.
Kiki, have you seen Taste of Cherry?
Yes, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
mentioned
that.
I love
mix
it.
of documentary and fiction, and just the way Kiarostami went about making that reminds me of that. But the
What do you guys
fact
think?
that
Oh, are you thinking of his other one? The
Well, there is kind of a fact and fiction element of Taste of Cherry a little, but
I think it's called Close Up.
Close Up, thank you.
Yeah, Close Up I also really loved.
There's more.
Yeah, I love the way that movie presents itself, and yeah, just the way he used the actual people. It's like I definitely think it's one of the more impressive acts of like non-actors being in a film like that. But
So-
yeah,
It's listed
like
on.
Mhm.
Can someone tell me, in the Indiana Jones 5 soundtrack, does he use like the classic theme, like da 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 da?
At the end, he does. At the very end of
Like-
the end credits, he does.
What about the MIDI version?
Yeah, the
I
trumpet.
genuinely cannot remember.
Me either.
Like,
You know, the thing is, like,
so which
that doesn't
track?
necessarily
I
always
want to
have to-
find the track. Which track in the? I'm looking around on the YouTube thing.
Oh, you're looking for the one that has the Indiana Jones theme? Look up New York 1969. That has the Indiana
Okay,
Jones
thank
theme
you.
within it.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think Creed 1 is the only movie I've ever seen where I think they used that.
Yeah, you're right. It's literally just there. So what I'm pissed about is Black Swan was ineligible for the Oscars because it relied too much on the Swan Lake soundtrack. Apparently,
Arrival also.
Really?
yeah.
That's interesting.
Like
That's
Black
dumb.
Swan didn't even get a nomination because they're like, no, because it's based off another thing.
Even
So
though
why
many
do they
years
keep
ago-
giving Oscar noms to John Williams for Indiana Jones and Star Wars when he's just doing
Okay.
the same music? That
did
Mhm.
Because they
Did
love
Whiplash
John
get-
Williams. He's-
No.
did Whiplash get
Whiplash
didn't
a
get
best
really.
score nomination at
I
all?
don't think so.
Back-
No.
Yeah,
Which is
that
funny
makes
since a
sense.
long time ago, I think it was the 70s, there was a subcategory where they could do original score and adaptive score. So I'm not sure why they kind of retired that idea.
My theory, in all honesty, is so that way, because they usually play the scores for the films that get nominated at the Oscar ceremony. I think they just want to have an excuse to play the Indiana Jones theme at the Oscars. That's why they
Yeah.
nominated
Oh,
it.
yeah,
That's
that's
my
not a
theory.
bad
More
guess.
entertainment
That's why-
that's why I come back to my, like, who are they doing it for? It feels like they have a certain kind of, like, well, everyone in the audience will go, oh, I know that song. Of course that should, win.
Barbie
here's the
being
thing.
nominated for adapted screenplay is also kind of funny to me.
What?
Yeah, that's weird.
Adapted.
I mean, how do
Adapted-
you
adapted
bring
from a
the whole entire
plastic
word based
toy?
on-
So they
Yeah, the
okay, so they
sequels all
changed
count
the
as adapted.
rules. They changed the rules, is why.
Oh.
There's a
thought
percentage of
Arrival got
original
screwed for
music
that.
apparently, and now it's like 35% instead of 80%.
Did they?
Arrival was
God.
based
they
on a book,
changed,
though, right?
Did they change the rules on Wasn't one of the rules that like a movie has to be in theaters for a certain amount of time to be eligible? Did they?
Yeah, it's
change
still
that?
the case. I
That's
think.
still the
Yeah,
case. I
that's
think.
still the
Yeah.
case.
But then how come Turning Red, which was direct to streaming, got
Because
nominated?
they put it in some art house theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
They
Oh,
put it in like
really?
one theater in LA for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
God, I
that's
remember
true.
that.
That's,
They had it at the
that's-
TIFF Lightbox too. Do you
that's,
think they did
I
it with
think
Yeah,
that's
Nirvana this
funny.
year?
It doesn't need to be
'Cause,
like a wide release.
Yeah.
It's just you could.
I mean,
use,
that's usually the case with most streaming films that are obviously Oscar baits.
yeah.
There
They
was-
just put it in
there's
theaters
one thing
for
I
a
wanted.
bit.
There's one thing I wanted to say about like the like score sort of thing. I feel like the Oscars, what a surprise is they have conflicting ideas about things, but that like usually if a film is like best costume, it's always going to go to the one that has like dresses,
Usually, yeah.
Yes.
That's why Barbie's gonna win that category most likely.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Totally agree so far.
Poor Things had
It's-
dresses.
it's not as though it's
Lots of
like it's
dresses.
undeserved. Like Poor
Mhm.
Things won best costume, I would be like, yeah, totally. but for whatever reason, the Oscar, like the Academy has a hard on for movies like with dresses. So why is it that movies with music, like a Whiplash or a Black Swan, are kind of like taken off the table when it comes to music or
Well, I
getting
mean,
an
if it was
award?
all original
Whiplash
music, it
is-
wouldn't be. But the problem was that it didn't hit
Yeah.
the percentage for the threshold to be eligible.
Yeah,
Because
Whiplash
it was
is all real
based off
songs
of
too, right?
It was based off of other pre-existing music. Is the problem?
True.
Are
And
we
I
all
guess they
not
do
gonna-
have best audio editing or audio mixing, which I feel like there should at least be some. There should be less generalization
This-
about like, oh, this is the loudest movie or whatever.
I know this.
It should
This will be the year for audio to pay attention to, because there's a clear answer if you have like any media literacy. Like the choices for audio in the zone of interest, like that's the whole movie, right?
Yes.
If they're gonna give it to
But
It'll be
Oppenheimer's very loud, so
Oppenheimer
this will be
is
the year to
loud.
pay attention to.
Yeah, I'd be a little
That bomb
upset
made
if
a big
Oppenheimer
boom.
won over Zone of Interest.
There
and
actually
the sound
there is some
category.
really
Nolan
cool
film.
sound design in Oppenheimer.
actual
The
money.
thing
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
like
there's
about
not
it is
good
that
sound design
there's
there. I'm
just a
just
lot of
saying
really, really loud
there's a
music.
movie where the whole point is the sound
No,
design.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I
The
understand.
Academy
Yeah,
looked at Zone of Interest and they're like, I'm sorry, those screams are too quiet, and that bomb made a big boom.
They gave
I'm
sound-
supposed to be hearing it, so I think we're gonna give it.
I think the Oscars should have to be like out in public about just who the fucking voters are. You know, like just give us a council.
Yeah, tell us your vote.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Have
there
everyone's
a
vote
leak
be
of like
public.
some
They
internal
are,
comments a few years ago?
Do it like
Sean
Survivor.
Evans-
Have them up
I
on
think
a
Sean
on
Evans-
bleachers. And...
Sean Evans of is that his name? Red Rocket director.
Sean Baker.
Sean
Oh,
Baker.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
the
he's
Hot
a
Wings
Academy
guy.
voter. Yeah, he's an Academy voter.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think they are allowed to say who they are.
Yeah,
in an
they
arena.
some
Why
of
would
them
they want
say what they voted for, and I guess who they are.
Do it like reality TV. Instead of them just going and announcing who it is, you have the guys there, and it's like, who? Did
You should be
vote
able
for?
to search up who voted for what. You should be able
Yeah.
to search up who voted for what.
Answer for your
Yeah.
crimes.
Yeah.
I will say
Is
one.
they-
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead,
Uh,
please.
All right. Well, I was gonna say when it comes to the Oscar things, as much as I liked Barbie, I do find the discourse surrounding Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie getting snubbed to be like obnoxious. Like I don't know if
It's
I'm
kinda
the only one
funny.
who feels that way.
Hillary
Like,
Clinton. Hillary Clinton.
I thought they
chimed
were
in.
going
That
to
was
nominate
hilarious.
You know, they technically do have nominations for that movie.
yeah,
I
do.
know.
I mean,
they got
it's,
it as best picture because they're
Yeah,
best
yeah.
producer
and best supporting
Mhm.
actress and best supporting actor. So they got some acting noms in there. The thing that I don't get is that fact that there's a lot of people who said that Greta Gerwig getting snubbed means that the Oscars hate women directors. Meanwhile, Justin Tria got nominated for
Yeah,
Anatomy
they
of a Fall,
the
so I
people
don't-
complaining about
that's
this
funny.
have not
Yeah.
even seen what the other nominations are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
mention
Jade-
Greta Gerwig has already got a nomination for screenplay, so
Like
I think
Yeah.
she's gonna
in the
win screenplay.
categories that we're supposed to like put them in, you gotta, if you're gonna make that argument, you gotta say who you would take out and why. But I don't think that they've seen the movies.
It's a really stacked year too.
Exactly,
All
All
right?
the directing
Yeah.
noms are deserved. Like I think all the directing noms
I
are
agree.
deserved. If we're
I
perfectly
agree.
honest.
I think
can
We're
all
all
agree
directing
that-
noms.
I'm shocked that America Ferrera got a nomination, honestly.
I'm really happy she got a nomination personally. I
Mhm.
loved her in that movie.
I'm
She
just
was
glad that we
The
didn't get another.
nomination worth,
like,
you know.
I don't know. Like, is it just for the speech at the end? I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what it feels like. And
The speech is freaking everywhere.
I'm
Yeah.
still pissed that Willem Dafoe was snubbed so hard for. The
Yeah,
Lighthouse, you know,
I'm
like-
surprised.
Yeah.
and he's not just in a speech in the movie, you know.
He's
at
my
least
favorite
Mark
character in
Ruffalo
that
did
movie.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that,
at
or
least-
Very funny.
At least Mark
Uh,
Ruffalo got a nom, and I'm happy about that because Mark Ruffalo was awesome in Poor
He was really
Things.
good in
He did
that.
a great
Yeah.
job.
Really
He was
funny.
really great. Really
Is
funny.
Willem in like a Leo DiCaprio scenario where he hasn't won an Oscar for anything?
It definitely seems
Yeah.
to be.
They're gonna give it to Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, I feel, because he's been getting
Yeah.
a bunch of awards.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel that
my
way
money-
because
my
Scoot
money's
said it,
on-
and he seems very confident about it.
Scoot understands out of touch old white men.
He is out
My
of touch.
money
Can we
is
all
on
just be
Golden
happy
Money.
that for the anime feature category that we didn't get Wish to be in the category, apart from Elemental, which is a Disney property, but
I
It
mean,
would have been
subdivision.
funny if Wish got nominated.
it would have been ideal if no Disney titles were in it.
Especially
especially if
ABC is owned by Disney.
Yeah,
like
'cause now I have to
they
watch
put Robot
Elemental.
Dreams in there, so they've you know, there's some consideration somewhere.
I
Like they
do
could have
love
put
that,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or some shit.
That made
or
me
Leo.
so happy.
I do
I really
love that.
love Robot Dream.
I want to see.
Is there a way to
Dream
watch Robot Dream? I'm looking
No.
forward to check.
Not right now, but they
No.
said coming soon. I will say I am glad Nimona got a nomination, considering that film got fucked by Disney initially, and then Netflix saved it, essentially. So that was that's
that was
great...
a really
Take
that was
Bob
a really
Iger.
boring. That was a really boring movie.
Adam,
It's
do you
very
know
derivative.
where I can watch My Year of Dicks? Because I have
Vimeo.
yet been Vimeo. Okay, yeah, I'll look it up.
The
on there.
Vimeo.
I think it's on Hulu.
The only
No, it's
Vimeo
not. It
link
used-
I could find for My Year of Dicks is now like password protected, and the
Oh.
last time I checked Hulu, it wasn't there.
Oh, damn.
Okay, well I don't know.
Actually, speaking.
That's sad.
But I will say I have a copy.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh,
Speaking of animated shorts, so I have something I have to say about 95 cents that's free on like a certain website, but it's only for a limited time. It's going to go away at the end of this month. So you guys, I could put a link in the chat if you want to see it yourselves.
For what?
95 cents, which is one of the animated short nominations. It's at the end of the month they're gonna delete the short film from the internet, so I'm gonna put a link to where you can watch it.
Sure.
From the internet.
Yeah, by the way,
get quick.
by the way, Adam, like just the remember last year the horse, the whatever, that really long one?
The
That
boy
was
and the
like
mole.
the only Yeah, that was the only one where both me and my friends were just literally we watched it at TIFF Cinema.
the worst
and then, like
one.
we literally just fell asleep there.
It was
and then when
literally
we
the worst
woke up,
one. My
yeah, it
audience
was so
laughed
boring,
when the
we're
fucking horse said it had wings.
It's dumb.
I
It
fell
was so
asleep.
shit.
I don't.
Hold on,
Yeah,
I'm gonna post something
there's
in
no.
chat
What a
real
They still
pointless,
call it a beautiful
pointless,
mess.
stupid fucking thing.
It's like based
That
on
movie should have been just 5 minutes long, and that's it.
Yeah,
If 5
it's
minutes
based
long,
on,
it wouldn't be that bad.
it's
You know?
based on a
Thank you,
children's
Olivia.
book.
I mean, it's
Kiki,
based off
Thank you, Olivia.
illustrated
Yeah,
book
It's
that
based on like a children's book, and every time I see it in a bookstore, I get like PTSD from like looking at it.
Me
'cause I'm
too.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like
Unless
Nelson,
you
that's
like
cool.
flinch, I'm like, I don't want to watch it again.
Kiki, what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you got me thinking about the whole zone of interest sound design thing. Like, if you remember how, like, at the TIFF screening, the first question was literally just some guy saying sound design. I wonder if
Yeah.
it'll, like, touch the Academy voters, like, in that sort of, like, instinctive way, the same way that it did for our audience.
Hmm.
Like, where they'll just it's not the loudest, but they'll get it.
Maybe.
So I almost wonder if that'll happen, but yeah.
I think it
Oppenheimer.
would have to because it got nominated. I think there has
Right,
to be
right.
enough people that understand that the sound design was the point, right?
I just wonder how many of them
Yeah.
are thinking, I don't want to get crucified for my votes. So what does everyone expect from me? And I'm curious what the, angles are that they're thinking about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Is there a Green Book scenario this year? Is there like
Maestro,
some-
American
that's about
Fiction.
it.
American
Or-
Fiction.
I
Oh,
feel like
and
that would be
American
best
Fiction,
picture.
yeah.
I liked American Fiction. I thought it was a okay
No.
7 out of 10,
Was
but
okay.
it's not the best
That
film of the
movie
year.
has
It's one of the
that
two I
movie
haven't
has a
seen.
Yeah, that movie has like a promising premise, but like the execution was just like stuck on like this milk toast like Oscar Beatty thing. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but Adam, you know what I'm talking about.
It
Yeah.
wasn't very like deep, I guess. Like it was not very like
It
I would also
thinks
say, I
it's
think
deep.
Oppenheimer's Oscar bait is just good.
it kind of felt like it
Yeah.
from
Uh,
Spike Lee without any of the
Yeah.
satirical elements of it.
I think a lot of the scenes with Robert Downey Jr. especially feel like they could have just not been in the movie and the movie would have been fine. still.
Travis, what's up?
I was gonna ask, and this is kind of a question for everyone. Do you would find movies that you would consider Oscar bait more enjoyable if they came out like in like April or March or like early, not an Oscar like Oscar time? I don't know.
No, I don't see
not
why.
me.
Wasn't Crash like in February? It was like Crash is like one of those weird movies where like
Was
it was
it?
not released in Oscar season.
I thought it was
yeah,
like
Crash
September.
was
I
released
thought it was
in
a TIFF
February.
premiere.
Really?
I swear it got
remember it was
premiered
like
at TIFF.
all the way.
I think you're confusing it
Oh,
as it
okay.
started with a TIFF premiere and then it got released afterwards.
Oh, maybe I am.
Probably got
I'm
a
sorry
wide
then.
release in February after the Oscars or something.
Yeah, I'm seeing May 6th.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.
Misinformation, guys. I'm sorry. By accident. I
September
remember it
10th,
wrong.
2004, Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah. But I know Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's not the Oscar season, and
Yeah,
that's
that came
like
out.
grabbed
That came
away.
out like April 1st
January.
or something. Something
I
like
also
But
that.
wouldn't
yeah,
describe
sorry,
that
I
as
got
Oscar
off
bait.
topic. It's no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got off topic. my bad.
Slough, what's up?
So this is my first Hangout, and I've been dying to ask this
Welcome.
question. So you gave both La La Land and Whiplash a 9. Which one you like more? Because for me, they're like on the same level, but like I rewatched Whiplash, and at first I thought I liked Whiplash more, but now I can't decide.
I'm not sure because I've only seen La La Land once. I gotta watch it a second time before really feeling solid about that. I feel like
Is there
Whiplash
live
is
or actually
probably
answer?
the easier one to recommend to people, is more
see.
accessible.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense. Thank you.
yeah, I like them both.
I like them both too.
And Meat Boy, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hi guys. Sorry I was
Hello.
late. Working. Just so okay. This is a question you answered before in Sardana Cast, but I want to poke you a little bit with this.
Mhm.
So with like Poor Things and Titan, like I showed it to like a couple friends, and I like they were, how should we say, they were very open minded with like a lot of the movies I watched with them, but with like those kind of movies, they were like very uncomfortable because of like the sexuality. And
Mhm.
when I was poking at them, and then they were like, "Well, it felt to me gratuitous." It's like, "Can you rationalize it?" It's like, "No, I can't." So what? So basically, what I'm trying to say is like, with in terms of sexuality, how do we build the bridge between gratuitousness and like artsy when it comes to like nudity, or is it just like
I mean, it's just
inherent
intent, right?
perception? Yeah.
Like,
I
is
think
there
it's also
is there a
audience.
point to it, or does it just
Yeah.
feel like the director's just exploiting the actor just because they think it's hot, or is there like a point to it being in the film? Is really where I
So
would
a
just
lot of times my friends would say if they can cut to 1 minute of it, it will be okay. And I asked them like, okay, does it mean like any part is fine? And I like that they say like, yeah, any part is fine. So it's kind of interesting because like it felt there is a lot of it felt like less than rational kind of like understanding. I don't know, like
They
I'm
probably just
sorry.
can't describe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Like, how many of you
interesting
guys
because
are
like they
American?
I'm American.
There's
I'm
two of us.
American.
The three of us. It's like we are very sex averse over here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think to
Yeah.
an extent, some
Yeah.
of these conversations when you're dealing with Americans is going to be that culturally we're just extremely prudish when it comes to like film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
While
brains are
just more open-minded
broken.
about sex.
Yeah.
Someone broke your
Yeah.
brain.
It's just
I
cultural
think
stuff, you know.
I think there's also a distinction to be made about, like, of course, if any of us have taken a any college film class or whatever, you eventually talk about the male gaze or the female gaze or whatever, and
Yeah.
I think the issue here is that, like, artful nudity is not something that we can see a lot, but as you know, it comes and goes in waves. Like, I would say The Handmaiden is artful nudity. But
Mhm.
I mean, I just watched I finished True Detective season 1 last night, and all the sex scenes in that felt gratuitous to me. And it's just the
Hmm.
way the camera moves. It's subtle
Mm.
things that we have, but it's like, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
I
are
feel
you
like
like
I can
filming a
distinguish
music video sequence sort of thing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how many of
But
you
it's
guys
also tough because
watched.
how do you say that that's wrong?
it's
Yeah.
not necessarily to say that it's wrong, but
Right, right.
It's just
Yeah. Do
it's
you
almost
guys?
like I know what you're doing. Like, you can't be subtle about it, you know? And even though
Yeah.
Poor Things had like far more nudity,
Mhm.
I'm still, I can at least see to a degree. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Well, it
Even
was
though,
structurally connected to the themes, though.
yeah, exactly. I will say, me and my girlfriend, that was maybe the one thing what we were just kind of like, okay, I get it, you know? And I just feel like it was almost a scenario with no, maybe that's a bad comparison, but it almost just felt like the way that things ramped up was not necessarily like not to get too off topic, but it didn't like elevate things in a way. Like the only time that I felt like, whoa, this is getting crazier, was when the guy
Which movie?
the two boy Poor Things.
Okay,
When the two
try not
boys
to
are in the room.
spoil too much.
Yeah, when those two boys are in the room.
Mhm.
Like that was fun. That was like funny to me, and it was weird and upsetting. And given that point in that character's development, I was like, okay, that's that's interesting and it's challenging. But like by the time we get to the ball gag, I'm just like, I don't know.
Wait,
It was
wait, hold
telling
I'm
on
counting
myself,
this
I
as, like, a
hated that movie.
spoiler.
Damn.
I don't know anything about.
I know, right?
Poor Things. I
That
kinda wanna
scene,
go into Poor Things
that scene was censored in UK as well.
Yeah,
so, like,
it was changed.
that's
Yeah. So yeah, just I find it kind of interesting because like I've been hearing some really radical feminist YouTubers, and then like something they often brought up is whenever they associate in nudity, the only thing they can think of is like not just indecency but also like sexual violence, you know. So like it kind of like that kind of idea of like you're showing your nude, you're being exploited, you know, that well in some cases well there are
Yeah,
cases
that's
where
the thing. We have a
true, for
history of doing
sure.
that a lot in America. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that like nudity and sexuality should probably just be destigmatized over time, and a lot of people's weird insecurities and problems and triggers will probably just go away along with that. That it's very much socially
Yeah.
constructed.
I agree.
Yeah, I
Like
completely
it's,
agree.
it fucks people up. It fucks people like if somebody like gets their nudes leaked or something, they think it's like the end of the world. People have killed themselves over that. There's like absolutely no reason to. There's no reason for them
I
to
don't know,
feel
there was a
ashamed
sex
about
tapes?
having a
Yeah,
body, and there's no reason for other
yeah.
people to shame them. Like it's just it's
There was
completely a
a
completely arbitrary thing we've decided is like a bad thing or important to shame other people over, and the only reason we do it is because other people have done it.
Well, my country was
I
just
don't know
founded
if
on
you guys
Puritans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys just follow up on Ada's point. Like, I don't know if you guys heard about there was like a Hong Kong sex nude scandal back in the early 2000s.
No
And then
idea.
like there was a lot of there was a lot of actresses involved. That one case just ruined, like straight up ruined the career of like at least 10 actresses, you
Mhm.
know?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset where like fucking I don't get if somebody AI deep fakes me onto like a porn body, like I don't care. Who gives a shit? Who
Yeah.
cares?
No. Here's the issue. What
Might as
if
well be a
we
drawing.
horrifically and sloppily wrap your face around an AI video of a horse?
What do you
And
mean?
it
That'll
just
be considered controversial.
where it's just there's a lot of artifacting going on, and it's not. It doesn't look correct at all.
Mm.
Maybe, but honestly, Adam, we all know we all know, Adam, that you're gonna spend $50K on an animation of you and Scar having sex because we all see how that. How
Yeah,
verbal
well,
it
at
is.
least unlike Verbalace, there'll actually be
Hey.
some pornography in it.
Yeah.
And also, why are you paying 50,000 for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overpriced a little bit.
I mean,
I'm
when
trying-
you
Getting-
become
I don't.
getting
Yeah,
the
I have.
original-
I'm much cheaper.
I have
We're getting the
definitely
original
not
animation
spent
involved.
in the four. I have not spent in 4 digits on commissions.
I mean, when you
ever.
become famous to a certain extent, you really can't control what other people do, right?
Yeah, so you can.
Yeah, it's like at a
costs
certain
less.
at a certain point, it's like it depends on how maliciously you're using the images, right? So like if someone's
Yeah.
creating an AI image of someone and passing it off as real, like pretending you
Yeah.
committed a crime or like
Yeah.
making one of a politician, and like eventually we're gonna have like deep fake video that's convincing enough that like, ooh, did Biden do this on a security camera and say this thing? Like we don't know, like right, we don't know what the future has in
Yeah.
store for us. There's obviously some things that it can be used for very maliciously, but if people are just using
Yeah.
it for their own personal benefit, and even if that personal benefit is just like, I don't know, masturbation or some perverted thing, it might as well just be their imagination. It might as well be a drawing. Just because it looks more real, I don't
No,
think
that's how I
we've
feel
I don't
about it,
think we've
yeah.
crossed
Yeah.
like
I mean,
Yeah,
a new
you're
threshold.
you're
a
right,
business
chat.
model
Last
for
Sorry?
it'll be a business
Yeah.
model for most adult film businesses because they're at the point where like much like how they realize they turned film into video, they're gonna see this new technology and they're probably gonna take advantage and without the consent of the
Who
actors,
knows?
like celebrities and
Well, and
Well,
not
I
to
mean,
even
if you're,
rest of
but
the
that's the
group.
thing, though, is like there's a difference between using it for your own personal thing and like selling it also. So if you're
Mhm.
trying to monetize someone else's image, then that would probably be grounds for some sort of legal battle, right?
Knowing what I know of most people who use that sort of thing, that I have no doubt in my mind they would stoop to that level of just immediately monetizing it because
Most
they know
people?
there's a market for it. Not most people who do use it, and that, you know, to that degree, it's like most people who have access to these kinds of tools. It's, you know, the people who are visible doing it. You know,
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
is
like
minimal
there's
in
shit
terms.
tons of people just fucking around with it that aren't even really posting things publicly. Like I know directors that like have, you know, been behind the scenes giving people advice, just being like, hey, like if you need to pitch something and you need like some images to help your pitch and help your storyboard or like an animatic or something, just use AI. It won't be the final product, but it could like help get
Oh
the product
yeah,
off the
I've seen
ground.
this happening in
You
like
say ugh.
Adobe
Why do you say
programs
ugh
and
for that?
Grammarly.
No,
Why do you
I
say
use it.
ugh?
It's great.
Who said ugh? Why do you say ugh for that?
I can't vibe with that. I feel like the whole idea
What
of
about it?
creating
Can you not vibe with though? I'm
it,
confused.
it it's the print, like okay, so if we're talking about conceptualization, like concept art or whatever, like think of temp music. Like directors who are using temp music, more often than not, it ends up just becoming like a weird carbon copy of that.
I
And
think
so
you're confused though. This is not
Yeah.
temp music saying, "Oh, I'm going to hire a composer to then follow along to the temp music." This is temp music that you would use to get a producer to fund your project. So I
True.
like yeah, you do want to take from other sources and be like, "Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
what the emotion's supposed to be like here. This is what this is supposed to look like here." Or just like you want to give people
for
with
crowdfunding.
a bunch of money who
Yeah,
don't really
because
know how to conceptualize art properly by just words. And you want to be able to show them something where they can be like, "Oh, I kind of get what you're going for," or hopefully remind them of something, you know, that is
Yeah, I've
successful or
seen-
True.
workable enough,
I've
right?
seen,
in the
um,
design
And if
process.
AI is the
And
way to
also
do that, if
I've
if
seen-
people are
yeah.
using AI for that to create real things, I don't see the
I can-
fucking
I can
harm in
kind of-
that
I've
at
seen
all.
pictures.
Oh,
I can
so
kind of
Austin,
understand
you
that
had to
because
Where they've
yeah,
literally
I feel like
used,
AI should be used for
still
like
images
animatics, like
from other
storyboarding,
movies.
not much used for conceptual projects.
Depending on
Yeah,
the
but
person,
there's
depending on
information.
depending on the conversation that I had, and I'm not going to name this person. They're like these are like indie directors, right? These are people like trying to get their projects off the ground.
Right.
yeah.
So-
I
And also,
can understand
Austin,
that.
you
It's
have
like
to
if you're trying
understand.
to. Sorry, go
Just
ahead.
very quickly. Yeah, Austin, you also have to understand, like a lot of producers, they don't have like, you know, they don't have they deal a lot with media, but they probably don't have, you know, a lot of like the media conception, like understandings as much as we think they do, right? That's why like when
Yeah.
it comes to like VFX stuff and like that, there's often a lot of fuck up because like they don't know how VFX work. So you have to give something tangible that they can understand very, very
Yeah.
succinctly, very, very directly. You know?
No, I completely understand because the first and foremost, producers want something immediately quick and catchable, and more often than not, they don't have a way of conceptualizing what you're talking about.
And
So that's
also
me.
the artists, if they're going to the producer, they don't have the money yet.
Yeah,
right?
no, and I completely understand that. I just think in terms of a creative process in building something, as I've tried to like build my own projects or whatever, that being in the shit of it and just letting it gestate and taking time with it, and obviously, you know, with the filmmaking process, you want to get something out quickly because if you don't make it, somebody else will. But I've found a lot of fulfillment in that, and so I think automating that people will lose out on that. And it's not to say that you're going to have worse products altogether, but I think it's a more meaningful end result, so to speak. If you have your
yeah.
own storyboards,
But-
like if you have crew,
But
if
if you
you're
can't
drawing
draw,
very crudely,
Right, that's the thing.
I
I
guess
can't draw.
so.
So
like
I
if you're a director that has no ability to draw and you don't have enough money to hire someone else to do it, but you have some sort of a vision and you can type certain things in, and then maybe it's not perfect,
Yeah.
but it's like close enough that you can at least just show it to a producer.
yeah,
guess
just sells
so.
your
It's
pitch.
Because
It's
you
just
have
a
no
story,
brain.
and also it's just a storyboard.
I have a friend who
It doesn't even
does
have to be
not like
used
his
as the
style
final
of drawing.
storyboard.
I
Yeah,
have
but
a friend
what
who
if-
does not like his style of drawing, and yet every time me and my girlfriend see his work, and we're like, you should actually just continue doing this, because I don't really care about skill. I think there's a stigma around that, the fact that people are so worried about their own skill in how good something looks that they lose out on what is still conveyed. Because you know,
But a producer
Yeah,
with the
but I
money
was
probably
we're
doesn't
talking
feel
about a
that way.
producer, not like
Yeah.
someone's self.
I guess
also-
yeah, no,
Or
I
another
completely
artist.
understand.
Also, what if you put like a lot of effort into one idea and then the producer like looks at it and then he goes, "Do you have anything else?"
Right.
And you've already spent like so much time on one thing. Like you
Right,
kind of want
yeah.
like a lot.
I can't speak to that.
wanna put-
That's a pretty standard thing. You know, you got to have a pretty wide portfolio of stuff ready to go in.
Like if you're making a pitch to someone to like fund your project, you want to go in with like the biggest guns you possibly have,
Yeah,
right? You
absolutely.
want to go in with like the most completed version of like what an idea that you're trying to sell them on can be, while not having money.
The thing is also
Yeah,
art
also,
is
an
hard
idea-
enough as
yeah.
it is, you know. So like it's I don't think we should necessarily be so worried about standing like not wanting to move forward with new tools
Yeah.
that come along, because like Rockwell got crap all the time for using a projector and tracing. And
It's
so
yeah,
just
it's
a matter of,
literally a
like,
tool.
By the way, Chad. Yeah. By the way, Chad. Last time you talked, like I understand what you're saying more and more about like the AI and misinformation. Thanks for that.
Boards
I
of
don't remember what
Cinema,
I
your
said,
hand
but
is up.
thanks
What's
for-
up?
yeah.
Hey, can you hear me
Sorry.
okay?
I can
Yeah,
hear
we
you
can
fine.
hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
I just have like a quick question. Have
Mhm.
you seen The Hurt Locker? Because I know you mentioned it at the
I
beginning
love
of
it
your
so much.
2009 video, but I don't see an IMDb rating for it.
Yeah, I think I removed the rating because I rated it really high
Oh.
and I was like really spiteful in 2009.
Someone on Reddit said that you rated it a 9.
I think I did.
And that was a speculation.
But then it's just like I haven't stomached watching it again since then because I hate Nicolas Chartier so much.
Why?
What do you mean why? I think I explained in my 2009 video.
That he was going after like
Oh.
people pirating it, right?
Yeah, he was like blackmailing people for like downloading the movie when they had no other way to watch it, and like making lies in court, and literally just extorting just average people that like
Is he,
downloaded the
s-
movie,
is he
which is
still
like
working in
a really
films?
shitty thing. Yeah, what is his production company? Like Voltage Pictures or something? He still does movies.
Can't say I know who
I've
he
been
is.
muted this whole
DVD
time and didn't
production.
notice. Fuck.
Oops. Yeah, and it used to be on his wiki page, but then mysteriously, if you go back in
No
the
wonder they were interrupting
if
me.
you go back into the history on the wiki, you'll see that mysteriously his controversies section was removed by a Los Angeles IP address.
Yeah, I could be
Hmm,
losing my
suspicious.
mind, but I swear you talked about that on stream
I did.
once,
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
and I couldn't find it. It's like, was that a highlight I made?
I don't
or...
know.
Wait, it's Voltage Pictures.
I think so. Let's find out.
Yeah,
Also,
all
is
the
Yeah, it is
anyone here a
Voltage
Jeremy
all
Renner
the,
fan?
all the posters for these movies look the same.
I have the
It's
Jeremy
also
Renner
shit.
app. What are you talking
Fuck
about?
yeah, dude. You're a liar. They got rid of that app.
I mean,
No, it's like Twitter. I haven't updated it to X.
Yeah, yeah,
I've still
All the
kept it.
posters are
If
literally
you
like
update it, it goes away.
I mean,
two
but
people
do you still
staring at
feel
each
like?
other.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but do you still feel like The Hurt Locker is a good movie? You know,
Yes.
separating the art from the artist.
Yes,
Don't you mean separating?
but
the
I just
producers from the
don't have a
movie?
number for it because I haven't seen it in forever.
All right.
By the way, Adam, I have a question.
Yes.
So this is another movie you haven't talked about, but it's called Camera Person. And thank you
I love it.
because I found it out and I loved it. It is such a unique film. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's great.
I love
Yeah,
That'll be on
I was
my
gonna say earlier
2016. I
about
think.
people being weird about like
Yeah.
sex things. Like I got so many bitter comments from people about like, you know, the way my avatar is drawn, and it's like, I don't know why. Like, what does
People
it
be
matter?
hating, brother. That's
Yeah,
all
it's not
you
like we're
do.
making
It's
kids
a bunch of
content. It's
Christians
not
and a
like
bunch of
there's a lot of
insecure
children
people
on
who
our
just
channel
want to take hate
anyway.
towards you or something.
Like
I feel like Nikocado
they're just
Avocado has like a
large. What does
much
it matter?
younger audience demographic, and
Mhm.
like actually does OnlyFans.
That was
And his
something that-
entire
Was that the case with
YouTube channel is also just literally fetish content.
And that's
And
the
then there's
thing
like
earlier that
Trisha
came into-
Paytas, like you can look at her fucking thumbnail and all her shit. Like she has much younger fans. Like yeah, this is not like you're allowed to have some cleavage. It's fine.
Yeah, I
We
just
don't
think it's
make
really
content
weird
for
that
children
people-
anyway.
you
I don't
seen
care.
People flip the fuck out about the size. It's so weird. Like what? Who hurt
But
you?
like to
Why are
mention
you
that
so
the-
afraid of seeing
That is fair. It's
boobs?
ridiculous that a fox would have such big jugs.
Adam,
Yeah.
Thank you for
that's
getting my
something that-
species right. You're doing better than Adam.
I'm sorry.
Did
Also,
everyone watch,
it was during a roast, so I get a pass.
Yeah. I'm
It's
sure you
everyone
didn't
watch,
just
um,
forget.
Did everyone watch the new South Park? If we're talking about like
Oh, which one? The
content the one that's like I think it's about
The what?
cred. The one
Yes, I actually
Yeah,
did.
the
not
Prime
doing this for
Energy.
children.
made for children.
I saw that too.
I
That
had
was, like,
Paramount Plus, but I'm gonna cancel it soon. And then because I only got Paramount Plus for The Curse, and I binge watched that. That was a great show. But I also decided to watch some
wanna
South
talk
Park
about the
stuff.
Curse.
I guess I know what you're talking about with the cred stuff.
No,
It's
like
funny.
the Randy and his OnlyFans, and then like
What's
was
funny about
annoying.
the like
that was so
Prime
good.
drink thing is like that almost feels old, and then now the fucking Starbucks Stanley Cup kind of replaced it.
Yeah, I saw
This-
Papa Meat's video on that. I do not understand why people
Yeah.
care so much about that
Yeah,
fucking
I have no
cup.
idea how that
That's so weird.
happened.
They mentioned that
This
they
has
start
happened
selling it for like
before.
$10,000 for the Valentine's Day cups.
And then if
It's
you're
like,
like if you're like a Canadian or a hockey fan, the word Stanley Cup means something entirely different, and it's
Oh, is
confusing.
that really what's going
Yeah,
on?
that's the weirdest part. Like, it's like
feel like
do
for an
you-
American,
do you mean the
Stanley Cup
soccer
still means
trophy?
that.
Not soccer.
Yeah, why
hockey
would they?
trophy.
They should get sued.
I have paid no attention to it. I haven't like
All I
actively
know-
avoided it, but I assumed it was because
Sue
of that
Stanley.
connection.
All I know
It's-
is there's a TikTok of like a
Stanley
burnt
Parable
out
Cup.
car, and like the Stanley Cup still had ice.
Oh,
in
that's it. That
That
was the
is true.
Stanley Cup.
And it's
That
like
is
I
good.
guess
This is the
that's
story
why it's
about the
popular.
madness.
I just don't
God.
understand the whole Starbucks collab one being like such a hot commodity. Like
Here's
what
something in the
what about
background.
that?
What's going on?
Oh, sorry, that's probably a helicopter flying out my house.
That's
It's
okay.
just Beanie
I love
Babies.
Extreme Military,
Found you.
guys, forgive me.
Feds found you.
You know, even if the Stanley Cup and the fire thing is true, I feel like it's just pretended just so they could advertise the Stanley Cups more than just, oh, it can survive really high temperatures.
It looks no different from any other cup in Target.
This
Like, that
this
you
has
can
happened
buy.
before.
It just looks like any other thermal cup that I have that isn't just Stanley's.
10 years ago, I don't know if somebody can bring this up, but like living in the South with a lot of like, you'll see a lot of cars of like sorority women who have like the 3 initials and the sticker on the back of their car. They usually, it's like Stanley, Yeti cups, like Hydra Flask. That was another one. It
Mhm.
like, time is a flat circle. It keeps on happening with this. And every single time it's a different brand, but I legit don't understand why. I have had the same Yeti cup, the same coffee cup for I think 13 years now, and it's still good. But for whatever reason, having I mean like with most things with consumerism, it's like as long as there is something that is like visibly popular or it has the image of low scarcity, for whatever reason, things like that are like prizes, they're trophies. I don't get it though. Chad, you're muted.
I don't know, resale
just noticed that.
value.
It's the brand. It's
It's
really
also-
it has to do with the brand and the type of people who buy that product.
And the moment, and like there's a thing happening. I want to be a part of it. You know, like
Mhm.
Yes.
I've watched the
FOMO,
last
yeah.
6 Star Wars movies
Like a
on FOMO
fashion
alone.
statement.
Is
leads
the
people to,
Stanley
like,
Cup thing
trampling.
mostly just a girl thing though? Like how did that get gendered? It's a cup.
I have been told, yes.
I have no idea.
Girls with water bottles.
I don't know,
That's a meme.
Starbucks. I don't know.
Fucking boys don't have
Girls
water
are
bottles.
super- Yeah, they
Yeah.
there's
I
water
do.
bottles everywhere. Yeah.
I have a
I
water
have
bottle
a
right next
big ass
to me.
water jug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I have
you're
a
talking about
water-
genderism.
I
I
think
wanna say
if
something-
you, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say we're having a conversation about just because you just mentioned genderism earlier. I was gonna say as well, as far as the people using AI to like make sexualized images of us too. I think the people in this chat that fit the bill. I mean, for me being a cisgendered male, I also have to keep in mind that like I have not had a life kind of dictated by the male gaze, as a lot of my female friends have. And so them having a very different visceral reaction to it, to me, like, I have to also accept that, you know, there's a difference in how no one's ever catcalled me, you know.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like, are people sending them to you, or are people like, do you want to make it illegal for someone to do that in the privacy of their own home? Like, I don't know.
I
There's
share
a
the exact
line
same sentiment
somewhere.
you do. Like, I agree with you.
There's a line
I think
somewhere, and I think like it's there. You know, there's people that will get uncomfortable with the idea of like, oh, someone masturbated to me, and it's like, well, if they don't tell you about it, like, what's the you can't control what's going on in someone's head, right?
I think
If somebody
a
has like
power-
a
Don't tell
fantasy
me
about
in my
somebody
kick
else.
chat to tell me about it.
Yeah.
I was
it's an
like,
imbalance
okay.
of sorry. To me, it just feels like an imbalance of power in the same way that like my girlfriend has told me about like creepy older dudes like just staring at her and making her feel uncomfortable. And she's not one to be like particularly so much about like, you know, a lot of like in the past 10 years about like different conversations about feminism, but that she still understands it's like for whatever reason a lot of dudes who are older who feel that they can basically get away with these things with no repercussion just do it. And I think that's the part of it that really does get to people, and I completely understand. It's just how those power imbalances are created. Is it, you know, I feel like you said, Adam, destigmatizing sexuality in a certain way, you can basically neuter that power imbalance, that it's like it doesn't matter if, you know, a guy is like staring at her or whatever, because it's like he has no control over her. And I feel like in a societal way like that will kind of deflate overall. I'm probably
Maybe
using
There's a
I'm probably
consent conversation happening here
Yeah.
too, though, you know.
Also, in conversation of like how we perceive sexual acts in movies or let alone TV shows, I think we're at the point where like I remember Yorgos Lanthimos was talking about for filming the scenes in Poor Things. They said they had this new system where like it's like you have a consultant slash instructor on how to properly perform explicit scenes with these actors and for on camera. And I believe we're at the point where like as long as everything is consented, everyone was safe and making sure everything doesn't go wrong, we'll probably be fine just as long as they're okay with without being exploitive, especially in terms of the adult film industry.
Yeah, that's been around for a while. What are they called? Like sensuality
Intimacy
managers or something
intimacy
like that?
coordinators.
Intimacy coordinators, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, to be honest with you,
Fluffers.
when I was watching that, as far as concern for exploitation, like, and maybe this is like the patriarchy, but I was feeling like this is Emma Stone. This isn't like some no name with no power. So I don't feel like Emma Stone would do anything that she didn't feel like doing, that she thought was like inappropriate.
If anything, that's a character who is taking control of their own sexuality, and then by a certain point just kind of
It's about agency.
Yeah,
They did the fish out of water
gaining
thing
agency,
that like
and then
every other fish
realizing
out of water movie doesn't actually go into. It just kind of like barely
Yeah.
touches on.
Rishi, what's up?
Well, I'm sure you have like discussed it immediately, since I think it has been a week since this happened. But I have a certain question for you, Adam.
Yes.
Or should I call you Death, destroyer of cookie cutter Oscar bait mediocre movies? What are you all discussed on the latest Oscar nominations? Oppenheimer all day.
All day, every day?
It's
Yep,
winning,
all day, every
I
day.
think.
It's probably
also-
gonna win.
And I also want to
I hope
mention.
not. I hope not.
Oh, and also, Adam, I know you haven't seen, and I'm sure you have a little bit of an uneasy stomach seeing the nominations for the Jeffrey Wright starred film American Fiction. But Adam,
I haven't seen it yet though. Yeah, American Fiction and Maestro are the only ones I haven't seen. So we'll do a watch along for some shitty Oscar bait.
Adam, do you hate Green Book and the film Crash?
Yes.
If so, then you will love this movie. It talks about stereotypes and how, despite how many diverse authors and storytellers are creating original work that doesn't rely on stereotypes and whatnot, many people, representative or not, still use these stereotypes and still get a lot of recognition, praise, and awards.
It's
crazy
never
is that
it's
I
never been an issue with the subject matter. It's just how it's presented. But yeah.
You're gonna find my show boring as shit. And then for American Fiction, I got to see that like very early, back in like November, because of some weird Regal movie mystery thing. They played American Fiction for that. That's how I saw it early, and I liked it honestly. I thought it was good. Like
It got a
it's my
bunch of
second-
Sundance buzz, I think.
It won the audience
Oh,
award at
that's
TIFF,
Sundance.
so
TIFF.
Yeah, it won the audience award at
Was it
TIFF. So
at
that's why it
Sundance?
was guaranteed to get a nom. That's why it got a bunch of noms.
Oh.
I mean, it happened with Green Book too, so that's usually the case for like next step for award recognitions.
Yeah, I
mean-
don't trust audience awards at any festival. They're never like a good barometer for like what a good movie is.
But
Yeah, the
Poor
trouble
Thi-
is that
Poor
audiences
Things-
tend to have very limited scope of.
Poor Things won audience award at Venice, so that's something.
Same with Joker.
Yeah.
And it won Venice, right? Yeah, I think
Joker
it
won
did.
the Golden Bear.
The Golden Lion, you mean?
Golden Lion, yeah.
No,
not
the
where
bear.
this isn't
The
Berlin,
Golden
you're right.
Golden
Bear.
Crying monkey.
The Golden
There's another
Bear.
film festival, it's Berlin, it's a bear.
The Xi Jinping Award.
Whatever. I just call it at
Based on
Venice. I
Best
just call it the
Picture?
Joker Award anyway. So just so we don't get
Joker
confused.
Award.
Yeah,
The Joker Award.
yeah.
Although- What did you
guys
I
wanna
really
be?
do. I think that's just simpler. If we just continue calling
Although,
the top prize at Venice the Joker Award.
I have, although on Maestro, I have stayed away from Maestro because even though looking at the trailers, the cinematography and the 4x4 ass frame is kind of using as at least using the cinematography to tell a story, whether
Mhm.
through this past and his older life. My doubts were is the story that was going to tell, and if it was like if it had that Oscar baity material.
It barely had a story. It
It's
was
like
nonsense.
Like it had interesting cinematography, but it had no proper motivation for it. It just felt like it was using it just to like because it could. And then I guess what I'm scared of is that it's gonna win makeup because they did a whole Oscar campaign about how Bradley Cooper used a bunch of makeup to make it look like the composer it's based on. Meanwhile, Poor Things had way better makeup. in
I
my opinion.
mean, is Poor Things nominated for makeup?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it
Oh.
is.
Okay.
Especially for Willem
Poor Things
Dafoe's
had good makeup.
Frankenstein
yeah, I
Mad
did.
Doctor look.
I
Yeah,
love.
totally.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's character design was so
Yeah, it's cool.
like, wild.
Also, I mean, like the transmutation stuff, and
They do
some
like to
violence of
give
that,
makeup to make other people look like real other people, though.
They do. They do.
They
It's
like doing
Yeah,
that.
that's why that fucking like Churchill movie won, and
You
then
know what?
also that Dick Cheney movie.
There should be a separate Oscars for biopics. You should
No
have
shit.
ineligibility
There's an
if you're a
idea.
biopic, and then
They
there's
should
a
make
separate
biopics
Oscars for
illegal.
that.
I'm
I
gonna
think
be
that's a
Created
good
an
idea.
attractive man, old and fat.
I feel like ever since Ray and Walk the Line is when I started noticing that every fucking biopic was the same, and
And they're
made a
all just
handful.
Oscar winners.
Yeah,
like this
right.
is the
It's
best
that- it's
movie.
that structure. It's the Oscar
It's-
style.
You
It's like,
made
Ra-
the Oscar movie. You get an
Yeah.
award. It's like, well,
Congrat- on a
should
person
we
that
not be
all
rewarding
so
like new
much.
things?
Right, like the
Unless if
Bowie
you-
biopic is
well,
going
here's
to
the
come out,
thing.
and everyone's going to vote for it because they just remember.
Yeah, because they
Bowie
love
so
Bowie.
fondly. Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't
It's
that
like
the
such
case
a
with
slam
The
dunk.
Blind Side where it managed to appease a bunch of white audiences to the point where you see like The Help and Green Book to some extent? To the point
Well,
where
we
even
can't
like
pretend like white audiences aren't massively important on every vote of cinema.
Recently,
but
recently they've been changing rules where like more you have to be more diverse in your cast in order to get eligible for the Oscars. I think you can't just have all white people in your film.
I mean, for the
That sounds insane.
it's only for Best Picture, and it's like a combination of cast and crew. I think.
Oh, okay.
So I
Crew's
think
more realistic. Cast is
yeah.
like, well, what if my story is about fucking?
So like Anatomy of a Fall is still nominated for Best Picture, even though it's just a bunch of white people in it.
Yeah, imagine you're making like Valkyrie, and it's like, okay, well, I got to fit all these multicultural people in my film about
That
Nazis.
would be Schindler's List.
Yeah,
You can
Schindler's
just
List. It's like, it's
you
not
know
diverse enough.
easy
Zone
solution,
of
easy
interest.
solution. Black Hitler.
Although,
Hey, call it a day.
although,
Call it a day.
have you seen
Call
like
Tarantino?
Side
Where
Gun?
is he?
That should be the title of a. Oh
Kanye.
damn, that
Kanye.
would be the
Oh,
that
Black
would
Hitler,
be
yeah.
that would be the best gimmick movie. Just Black
Yeah,
Hitler. That's the title.
Yeah, yeah, like Black Jesus.
Black Hitler. What a
That's
great
pretty
movie
right. That's-
concept.
It sells on its own. Right there.
Littler.
That's half your ticket sales are already. It's
Damn.
like Velocipaster.
Someone's got to be brave
Saw
enough.
it on the title.
Someone's got to be brave enough.
And also,
Kanye West. Kanye West is
Produced
brave
by
enough.
Spike Lee.
Yeah.
although
just-
Adam,
Oh, it's just
Perhaps
like
we need a
only
brave-
Kanye in the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's just
Perhaps
we
we
need
need
a
a
brave
brave
voice like Taika
Because have you not
Waititi.
seen his he's been wearing like Nazi eagle
Oh, yeah.
shit, and
I
in,
think
like,
it's
the
funny
cover.
that he does that.
That he's been wearing.
and he's also been
It's like-
wearing like tooth grills that he's replacing his teeth with.
Yeah, I saw that. Whatever.
It kinda reminds
I
me
think
of
it's
when
crazy.
George
I
Washington
think
had
it's
to remove his
insane
teeth
that
with
he
a
views
wooden
that
dentures for some reason.
I think it's insane that he views that eagle the same way that like it's as punk as like black rappers wearing the Confederate flag, because that's like a punk style.
Oh.
And that's like mostly just to piss off like.
I think he's
people that
just
are-
a attention guy. I think he's just doing whatever gets.
I think he's off his
really
meds. I think he has mental
I
problems.
feel like just gives him what
Yeah,
he
no
wants, you
shit.
know, like-
I saw somebody wearing a Burzum shirt out in public the other day. We went to a
I fuck with
restaurant.
Burzum. Yeah, obviously
I saw
homie's
it.
evil and racist, but
I saw it and I was like, ugh. You know, it was like a white guy with like short.
that's the hard
like,
part is that you
like
have to.
shaved.
No, I know
like
what
a
you mean. That's
shaved
the
head,
hard
and I
part.
was
Is
like, ugh.
you have to take that second to go. Wait a second. Why do you like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I'm just, I
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
I know what you mean.
might be a decent guy, but I don't know. I've met. Although if I saw somebody wearing like a Crystal Castle shirt, like
yeah, right.
just
You
a
want to
white
assume
dude,
sexual abuser.
I would immediately run.
This
turn
is why
tail.
you never get tattoos of like other people.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
What if they get
seriously.
canceled?
Dude, I made a whole video essay and I like quoted Jordan Peterson a bunch
Nice.
before. Like this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was before and after a while.
When he
I
was
like, I
talking
just
about the
can't
Lion
anymore.
King.
What was it? It was. I
Would
think,
you
Frozen,
would
yeah.
you run away if someone wears a red cap, make America great again?
Would I run away? I would
I'm not
not run
afraid of
away.
that person.
Quote unquote run away. Quote unquote.
The possibility of the
No.
Burzum guy attacking you is higher. I'll put it that
I
way.
would hide away.
Listen, dude, I work at Home Depot. You know what? Actually, a few years ago, that was more likely. And the entire time I've worked at Home Depot, actually, I've only seen one person wearing a MAGA hat, which is like.
I don't think
it
I've ever
feels
seen one in the
ancient
wild.
at this point.
I've seen some in the wild.
And I'm in the South.
Actually, I
That's
live in
funny because I live in America. You live in Canada.
I also go to
Canada
Georgia.
sometimes has it. There's some Canadians wear it.
Do people
Well, there's
just
Colorado,
wear?
you would assume, but I've never seen one.
The
I've
grocery
seen
store that I
someone-
work at has like a fuck ton of Republicans that come and shop, and they're always talking about like wokeness. And there was this one woman who like was talking about how Trump's gonna like win the election and take over America from the evil, corrupt pedophile Joe Biden and stuff like that. So
That's great.
It's like it's just it exhausts me to the point where I'm just like I don't know how to even say anything anymore.
I can't even hear it anymore. I'm so black pilled on. I got real energized again around 2020, and then basically that 4-year period, I'm so fucking over all of it.
I'll just wait to see
People
what
even
Jon
still believe
Stewart
that
says.
Trump should be reelected for president, because I thought we're kind of done at that point. But I guess there's a bunch of crazy people on the internet who feel like Trump wants to be back on the presidential board.
I want Trump to get evicted or get convicted, go to prison, run from prison, win from prison, and then pardon himself just for the memes.
I just like, yeah, he might be the
Just might as
first
well.
prisoner president.
Wouldn't that
Then
be
it's on the
incredible?
table. It's not
memes.
impossible.
It's
Hitler
not
went to jail
impossible.
too.
There's
Is it
precedent
really?
for some of it. Yes,
It
there
is really,
precedent for some
literally
of it.
possible. It is a literal possibility of what could happen.
Some of it's happened
With
before.
with
People have run
Ron,
for
with
president
Ron
before.
DeSantis out,
Someone
with
got like
Ron
a million.
DeSantis out, it's like a done deal.
What do you mean?
As in, he's getting
Like-
the nomination for the.
Yeah, clear.
I have
And-
concern. I don't know.
How long
I
can
don't.
Nikki last?
You go on Twitter right now; they're all asking for all the Republicans want a civil war because of the Biden
Well, of
crisis currently, because of like.
Oh, hey.
yeah.
Civil
Border
War, though.
thing.
Can we talk about that movie?
Oh shit! I'm hyped.
Oh, what a
I
great
am
segue.
looks
so
good.
excited for this new Alex Garland.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
love the
It's-
idea that
so
Texas
fun.
and California formed an alliance. Like, no,
I don't think that's what happened.
no,
coming out on my
No,
birthday.
in
No, what happened was
in
yeah,
the
tell 'em, Adam.
in the Alex Garland thing, right?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think California
Yeah.
and Texas team up. I think that what happens
No.
is they get knocked out right away, and that's the reason they can have the movie is because those two states make it kind of not make
I-
sense. Like
Honestly,
Yeah, people have been talking about a California-Texas alliance in regards to that movie. I haven't looked up too much about
They
it because I just
hate
don't
each
do
other. I don't think that's
spoilers.
the
Like,
line.
I know they
No,
hate each other,
that's the
but this is
thing.
like an alt history
No, that's what I'm
thing.
saying. In this Alex Garland movie, from
I
what
don't
I've
think it's
been
supposed to be
told,
like a real timeline
it's
thing.
that Texas and California were the first two to basically get like terrorists like knocked out. And so the rest of the states split between the rest of the states because the problem is that if you have California
Exactly.
or Texas, like there's no civil war. Like those are just huge, very powerful states.
Wasn't there a time
mini
that
countries.
Asgars in Civil War cost like $75 million, but that was just misinformation, as it was just reality cost to like $40 million? I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
It
I
is.
believe it's the second expensive one compared to Beau is Afraid.
I
So
think
I-
Civil War is more expensive than Beau is Afraid, but not by much.
I am never this guy, but this was the first time in theaters I was watching fucking Godzilla. And I remember having that feeling of like the church mom of like, I don't know if the country needs this right now.
Yeah, well, the guy who wrote it's like British, so who cares?
Yeah, who
He's like,
cares?
"Yeah, suck it."
It's a British person's view of American politics.
No,
so-
I get that.
I love it.
I normally am not that. I don't try to be the like Euphoria is bad because it made kids kill themselves, because then it's like we're blaming the media for the blah 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 whatever. You know, it's like
I
video
thought you
games
said
cause
influence
violence.
kids to do a lot of sexual intimacies.
Well, the argument is just that like I don't
It's
want to
also
be the
not
guy
made
who
for
says that
kids.
Euphoria is doing that, but then also video games don't cause violence. Like I feel like I need to be kind of consistent across the board. But with this was one where I was like, God, I just don't feel like this is helpful.
Well,
I'm
America's like
trying.
more split
Aside
than
from
it's
its
ever been, and
themes,
it's like an
I
interesting
can't
conversation.
wait to feel dread watching that movie. Like dread, suspense,
Honestly, I
shock,
can't
and
imagine it
disturbance.
being able.
I mean, I just like Alex Garland. If it was anybody else, I'd be like, "Come on, really? Like,
Exactly.
who are you?
This-
Like
this
some
would be Daily Wire like- movie.
some American
I have-
like production company, and like
The
you
Daily
get
Wire.
fucking Roland Emmerich or something like,
Right.
White
doing
House
like
Has Fallen or
2012.
something.
Right.
Like
I
then I'd be
still-
then I'd be like,
Alex
do we
Garland
really
does
want
have
need
its
this?
faults,
But
in my opinion.
I'm kind of
He's
just
like
interested
such,
on his take and see what the fuck. Yeah, we'll see what the hell happens.
He makes.
I
like,
wanna
such
know
I
what
mean,
he
at
has
the
to
very
say.
least, it'll be better than
Polarizing
Blumhouse's
films.
The Hunt.
Yeah,
I was about to mention that, believe it or not. I
Low
wonder
bar.
though.
I can't
genuinely
believe
wonder,
people
though-
remember that movie and talk about it.
It was the
I
first.
can't believe
movie I ever
anybody would
covered for my
say that
YouTube channel.
movie.
That's the only reason I remember
Which
that
movie?
one.
It's the movie
The
that
Hunt.
nobody talked about, even though it barely got released in theaters.
I
during
mean,
the
more
first week of
more
COVID.
people talked about
It's,
that movie than the fucking Thomas Vinterberg one, which is sad.
Well, American production.
Yeah.
And also because when Trump was
then-
president, he tweeted about The Hunt being like, "This is the most racist movie ever
Oh,
made."
did he?
That
I
movie
don't
is maybe
remember.
one of the most successful. This is a video idea, actually. That's probably one of the most successful viral marketing campaigns I've ever seen in my life, because
What they do?
their whole shtick was like, this is the movie that they had to shut down because they don't want you to see it. This
Oh.
movie's so
Yeah, it was the-
controversial. And then my
Oh,
buddy
God,
and I
that
went to go
Oh,
see
I
it. and
love
like,
when
holy
movies try to
shit.
do that.
It was-
Like
This was the most
Gotti.
boring thing I've ever seen. It has
Or
nothing to
Raw.
say. It
It-
was
The
the most centrist
liberals
movie.
don't want you to watch Gotti.
No, that's what it was.
Try that
basically
with
doing,
Jerry
yeah.
loses the date
And
to
then they're like,
clown
oh, we brought it
and
back
we'll see how
1,000
that
times.
goes.
It was the original Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, in essence, right. And I remember like being like, wow, that really seemed to have worked because people did see the movie.
That's kinda
Obviously, it
funny.
wasn't, like, insane.
My
I
stepmom.
think the
I mean, how much
frustrating
money did The
thing-
Hunt make? Because I'm pretty sure it didn't go up because of the pandemic at all.
Well,
Yeah, it came
I
out.
remember
It came out like a couple weeks before the pandemic, or
literally
did it
weeks
even?
because I remember seeing it
It
in
came out
theaters
the
and,
week
like, you
the
couldn't go
pandemic
back.
happened, and then like nobody talked about it because nobody could go to a theater because of the COVID and stuff. And also,
And
I
it's
think
boring.
People had better things to talk about. than
Yeah,
movies.
I think the
honestly.
frustrating thing with those political movies is that like a lot of it felt like everyone just like dealing with talking points instead of like
Yeah.
investigating like, hey, how do we get to this point? You know?
Well, and that
You
brings
mean
me to
straw
Civil
man
War.
arguments?
Surface level.
Yes, and that was my
Yes.
concern. Well, and this movie is just straw man's fighting each other. Like it's very. That's why I say it's a centrist movie, because it does a lot of like, see how both sides are kind of the same and blah blah blah. But I think
Yeah.
with this new Civil War movie, that's my interest. Is unlike The Hunt, will he have anything to say that isn't like first page of the textbook? You know, like is there?
felt
I hope.
All we
I hope it'll
you're
at least just
spot
be
on,
like
Chad.
an
You're spot on.
entertaining movie. Like maybe it's just the set piece. Maybe it's not even necessarily about like a perspective,
But if
but
it's
maybe
just
it's
a
just a
set
set
piece,
piece.
it's head on.
I want Ben Shapiro and all the
Mhm.
Daily Wire people to watch Civil War and then make reviews of it and analyze it in the completely
You're
wrong
in luck.
way.
They will.
Do you guys
Yeah,
think it's
no,
gonna get?
absolutely.
You know he will.
I mean,
He's
it's
Finally,
not like
Do you
Hollywood
think
Ben
it's
should make
Shapiro
possible that
knows how to
A24 is going
analyze
to
a
market
movie
the hell out of
correctly.
Civil War?
Do you guys think it's gonna get trashed more than Men did?
no.
Yes.
No.
I
It's
think
already-
so.
I don't know why people trashed
No,
Man.
it
I thought it
will.
was
It's
alright.
already
Yes.
getting
I love
trashed.
Here's my
I love
prediction.
it.
Here's my
Well,
prediction.
I feel that based on
wait,
the
wait,
reviews,
wait.
I feel like there's more to Men than what meets the eye and than what
Mhm.
people are talking about. Kind of like is the case with Christopher Nolan's Tenet. There was some kind of like was the case with Christopher Nolan's Tenet. There is something in this film that we are not seeing that's hidden deep within.
I don't know if Men necessarily needs to be like a complex statement. I just enjoyed it for what it was
Yeah, I
doing
didn't re-
artistically. My prediction for Civil War is it'll be one of those movies that comes out every like 5 years or
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
where liberals will be like, "Wow, this really shows how conservatives are evil," and then conservatives will be like, "Wow, this really shows how liberals are evil." Like when the Hunger Games came out, they were like, "This is what happens when you have big government."
Mhm.
Right?
Oh.
Where like no everyone will just kind of assume that the movie's not talking about them.
Well,
Or like
also
when, even
you
when
said-
Parasite
That
came
was a
out,
really
conservatives were
boring
doing
movie,
that.
Hunger Games.
Well, it's good you said Hunger Games though,
Beautiful.
because then a handful of years later we got Squid Game, and the same Hunger Game conversation. Came
Yeah.
back.
Hunger
So, like,
Squid.
that's gonna-
Hilariously,
And now they turn into a
Hunger
reality show,
Games.
which apparently
what's
has the
funny-
same effect as Hunger Games in terms of the labor that they got with these people.
Yeah. Basically, it's like real
I-
Hunger
I-
Games, basically.
I do love the fact that
I'm
Hunger
sorry, real
Games.
Squid Game.
God, I got angry.
Their
comments on-
only way of depicting like worse off districts, like the places that are super poor, they have to look like an Eastern Bloc Soviet country. There is no,
No, that's real. That's
there is
America.
no
man,
way
like-
for Americans to conceptualize
Don't.
the fact that a dystopian place could resemble anything other than a
How many?
communist country.
We already
How many
live in a
times-
dystopia.
How many times has Ben Shapiro called out a movie that was directly talking about the sins of capitalism and then saying, "See, this is what happens with communism." You know?
Yeah,
like,
that happens
that's
all
our-
the time.
We
I
do
feel
that
like this is gonna be one of
constantly. That's our
those.
favorite thing. Yeah, totally. Every time we see any movie that's
Right,
ever, I
everybody
mean,
can
I
just
grew up
project.
super conservative, and I read 1984 and saw it as like it's exclusively talking about the sins of.
Me too.
Of,
Me too,
you know,
Chad. Me
fucking-
too.
Yeah. Because it's just
Yeah.
it's the same thing, the sex thing. If that's all you've been taught day in and day out for just
Yeah.
years, it's a real like congratulations to anyone who is like older than 10 and has changed political beliefs, because that's not the baseline. That's not.
I changed political beliefs.
Yeah, but the thing is, the other
I
thing
changed
was
early.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other
I'm
thing
just
is-
curious
though.
how
It's hard.
A24 is going to promote Civil War in terms of the subject matter.
I
They
don't know.
must
They
have
already
had to figure out.
Come to IMAX.
I've seen trailers for days on that.
It
movie.
got moved up. It was originally supposed to come out the same day as Challengers, but it actually got moved up to April 12th because
Oh, damn. It was supposed to come out on my birthday.
yeah, but they moved it up because
Damn.
Godzilla versus Kong was supposed to come out that day, but they moved that up because Biggie
Huh?
17 got delayed for some reason. So
I think I was
Chad,
mostly talking
Chad,
about
what is
marketing
your
in terms of promoting a movie and then marketing a film that's probably going to be
No.
controversial anyways.
uh,
Especially that A24 is known for like selling their merchandise based off their IPs.
Chad? You have your hand
I
up.
did. I wanted to ask you real fast. You said that you're doing watch-alongs. How do you structure your watch-alongs? How do you specifically do them? 'Cause
Structure?
I've been thinking of getting into them.
As in, like,
Yeah,
how do I stream them?
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 monitor set up,
Mm-hmm.
and on one monitor, I have OBS, my streaming, browsers or whatever. On the other monitor, I have the movie. Whatever player I use to play the movie needs to have a visible time code on the screen, which I just crop. So I essentially, on my OBS, I have a layer of the what would be display capture, what would be the entire screen or the entire window, but I crop it so that it's only the numbers. So the only downside is
Okay.
just like, I can't watch truly full screen. There's always going to have to be like the number on the screen.
Okay, that was exactly what I was gonna do. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so depending on what you're watching it on, it's oftentimes a lot easier just to like have a downloaded file of the movie, even if it's on Netflix and you want to stream it through Netflix, and
then use the player.
Because on Netflix, even though the player, sure, you can have a time code on it, it exists. You'd have to be constantly jiggling your mouse. My roommate Shay actually like wrote a program to like jiggle the mouse 1 pixel every like 10 seconds if I want to use something.
I love that.
It's kind of funny,
I
yeah.
love that. That is funny.
Yeah,
It's a
so I
little
have
engineered, but that is funny.
Yeah, I have an ability to do that for like if there's a reason, if there's any reason why it makes sense to do it on like a website's native player rather than a downloaded file. I have the ability
is
to do that, but
reaffirming to hear you say all that, because literally everything you're talking about are things that like walls I ran into of like,
Yeah.
oh, well, now I have to jiggle the stupid mouse all the time. What do I do about that? And I was
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah, he
there are
wrote like
people
a
ask, but then people
Python
ask all the
script.
time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you pause?
In some
Rarely.
instances, I try to not just
Ease of syncing.
Yeah, it's easier because sometimes people will have slightly different copies. Like if someone's watching on HBO Max, then there'll be 3 seconds of the HBO logo, or like one Blu-ray or another Blu-ray. Even if it's not a different cut of the film, they'll be like, oh, a different distributor or production company at the beginning, and it'll like shave 10 seconds. So like at the beginning of a watch along, I'll usually say something like, okay, my copy second 0 starts at this logo. And then the actual movie starts at 20 seconds. So if yours doesn't start with this logo, make sure you start at this time or whatever. Like subtract that amount. And then people are still able to resync because the time code's on the screen. But they just have to keep in mind if there was any discrepancy with their copy.
Okay, that tracks.
Cool.
The Shark Boy and Lava Girl watch along was fun with you and Scoot. That was a fun watch party.
That was interesting to revisit. I watched it as a kid.
I
That's a
saw some
classic.
clips to Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and trust me, the best, hilarious, funniest moment in that film, in my opinion, the one I saw was Shark Boy, played by Taylor Lautner, just doing the early 2000s dancing lullaby.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dream,
Classic. It's a classic scene.
Dream.
I think the one scene that's still stuck in my head is the part where he got the ability to get the kid's head to blow up, and that was like even insane for
That was
2004.
That's some horror, some body horror.
It is
I love
very
that.
odd.
Yeah, Adam,
Lava
thanks
Girl.
for the thanks for the Black Christmas 20 what year is it? 2019?
Yeah.
Black Christmas 2019 watch along track, because
That was
like
fun.
otherwise I can't finish that movie. If your commentary track doesn't exist, I literally can't finish that movie because oh my god.
It's a good one.
Very upsetting. Yeah.
And all,
I think the
also-
2006 is worse.
Also,
Yeah,
I
same.
will admit, since you did the watch along with Scoot and Gael, the Twilight Brothers,
Yes.
the Bermuda Triangle of your group, you get. Do you think you'll be able to do an Adam and Pals on that film?
Which film?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah,
We just
that's
did
the
it.
intention.
Mm.
Yeah, so it'll get turned into an edit. Right now there's we used to record them off stream, and now I just decided since the Watch Alongs channel exists, like I might as well just be doing them live anyway. So there's 2 left that we recorded since before we started doing them live, and they've just kind of like piled up just because the same editors that work on those are also working on like, you know, Aquaman and Poor Things right now, and like maybe my Sundance stuff if I record stuff for that, or like blah 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 blah. So there's just a bunch that need to come out. And there's I guess 4 or 5 that we've recorded, and those were the most recent. So like it'll happen. It's just we got to work through the backlog.
Sorry. Although I do want to add, I forgot to tell you about this about when we talked about the Oscar nominations. Did you see the nominations for Best Picture? Trust me when I say it, Disney deserved that they're not to barely have any nominations for their animation.
They should have had none.
Once Upon a Studio and Wish. And I do want to add, Adam, when I heard you said during the last meeting, Zoom meeting, that you'll probably watch it if the Oscars nominated, all I have to say is, do not give the Oscars or the Academy any ideas.
Well, I guess I'll be watching Elemental. So,
But I will say,
You only got
I
two.
do-
You only
aside from Spider-Verse, I do hope that Nimona will win. And aside from the
Oh.
fact that it was been ditched by Disney, the movie itself has great animation and has some very powerful themes and a certain group of quirky characters.
My money is on Studio Ghibli.
I
if you ask me.
disagree. Yeah, I disagree. It felt like a copy and paste Pixar movie to me. Pneumonia. Really disappointed.
Pneumonia.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was.
Well,
yeah,
Ammonia.
it's
Well-
copy and paste.
Pneumonia.
Yeah.
Nimona, I
I-
actually liked. I didn't think it was a perfect movie, and I still think Boy and Heron and Spider-Verse were better, but I respect Nimona for existing and also for being one of few animated kids movies that doesn't like shy away from like being queer and stuff like that. Whereas like
Ooh.
because they actually do like there's a gay romance that's actually central to the plot, unlike Disney's Onward, where it's just like a character in the background. You can just take it out immediately. Whereas on Nimona, it actually felt like, oh, they're actually putting progressive ideas out there. The humor wasn't the greatest. It's not a very funny film, and there are cliches in the story, but I respect Nimona for existing, and I respect that they at least try to do something different with some stuff. That's how I would put Nimona.
But isn't that kind of like a low bar? Like
That's
just
my
like
argument,
Something
right.
is. Yeah, thank you.
Can I make
thank
like
you,
something
I
that
agree.
sucks, but I have like
Please,
representation
chat. Go
in it?
ahead. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Yeah.
No, not your bad.
I mean,
no, I'm
you
just agreeing
can
with
do
you.
that. It's called Goodbye Volcano High.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, how many points are we giving people for this kind of stuff? And I feel like it's part of why these movies keep getting made is because people have this feeling of like, I don't have to make a quality film if I just hit like some hot button topics that people think that my movie is powerful or important. If it's important, it doesn't have to be good. It's important. And it's like, I don't want to give anyone fucking, I don't watch movies for that. Like that's not what made me fall in love with cinema was like, wow, this movie's if that's the case, then I'd, probably exclusively watch documentaries or something real, like.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chad. I agree with you 100%. Come on.
Meat Boy, your hand is up. What's up?
Yeah, so shit, let me sorry, my phone is a little bit slow. Okay. So I see like you saw Waterworld. I'm not gonna get into Waterworld, but I'm just talking about the broader point. I remember when you criticized like Critical Drinker was mentioning like star power back then can carry the film. That was like the trend in the 90s and the 80s. And then in the 2000s we have like the superhero movies. But
I agree with that.
what's kind of interesting is that like I revisited those 90s movies. They were equally boring. Like most of
we
these,
have a
like,
bias
actors.
to just only remember the good shit, and then it
Oh, I'm
like
not saying they're. I wouldn't say they're
older
better.
cinema, as well.
Yeah.
I'm
Have
just
you
saying-
noticed that like
I would say.
Have you noticed
really
that
just-
like
Yeah.
as the population grows older and new generations come, the goalpost for what the golden generation or like best time keeps moving. Like first it was the 50s, then the 60s, then the 70s. People are talking nostalgically about like 2005, like Sargon made that post about that fucking like punk band or whatever, talking about like, man, people were just free to be themselves. It was like 2005 or whatever. But these exact same people, like if this was 2005, they'd be talking about fucking the 80s, right? So it's just like it's a selective mental delusion bias that
think
you
I
just have. I think
misunderstood.
people just have to be more aware of.
What I was hearing was
Yeah,
just
like-
the idea that like Stallone could sell a movie because Stallone was in it, and that aspect I do agree with. Anthony Mackie has said the same thing, and I think that
Depends on
tracks,
the
like-
actor. It depends on what point in their career, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that hasn't disappeared. Like Ryan Gosling can sell a movie because Ryan Gosling's in it, right? Like
Kind of,
that
though. I
thing
don't-
still
But
exists.
he's not on the level of Arnold. Where,
I
like,
agree.
you
I don't
see
think he's on the
Arnold's
level of
Yeah,
Arnold. I don't
name.
think
and also
anyone is.
the examples that people give for that happening at an older point in time is not just the actor, but it's the actor with the expectation that they're delivering the exact same type of film, right?
True,
So
true.
so
yeah.
an Arnold movie isn't just like if you went into some like indie fucking A24 thing, like you wouldn't see the
Maggie.
same results. Yeah, like you're going into it because there's a dependable sense of like, oh,
You're right, that's
this is
true.
an action movie and it'll be exactly like those other action movies that I've seen. It might as well. And this is at a point in time, especially when people were a lot less familiar with the concept of directors. So they saw actors as like the dependable sort of like, oh, they're going to play the same character over and over, and I'm going to get some sort of sense of familiarity and dependability with that, right? So
Yeah,
Adam?
and also
I-
kind of like what you said, Chad. Sorry, just one quick thing. Like you said, like we just talked about, Chad. Like our standards are like very arbitrary. Like usually, like because I talk to some people. Well, I don't want to get into Dunkirk, but like some people will say like, ooh, like Dunkirk, like at least in this film, people don't like sit around the fireplace and talk about their backstory. But I was like, well, no, you're kind of putting yourself into the pitfall because you're like, hey, at least they didn't do this stereotype, you know. But sorry, I'm getting a little bit off track. But what I'm trying to say is like the trend with like the '90s with like big star, that's kind of a standard that was set also. But people love that standard. But if you look at it, it was like all the same.
I'm
You
not.
know,
I'm not
it's
mad
like,
that it changed. I'm glad it did. I don't think that was a preferable system
Yeah.
to be like, what's the new Arnold
Yeah.
movie? Because it was hard for newer people to break into the slots because it was like the top handful of guys were kind of owning all of it. And right now, like lots of middling, a John Boyega can compete with a Tom Cruise if he's in a Star Wars movie because the brands are carrying it more than just the actor anymore.
That's
Yeah.
why I get the
Yeah.
argument
Very well
that
said.
there are no more movie stars. Because I think
Yeah, in
critical
essence,
drinking
that's kind
was
of the
argument,
conversation.
and
yeah, I don't know if
I
I agree that
disagree
there's
with that
no more.
I
movie
yeah, I
stars.
wouldn't.
Me
Obviously,
too.
there's not no more movie stars, but I would say that the S tiers of today, I don't feel like have the brand recognition and they're also just the amount of people. There's so many more people involved at upper levels of the business in acting
Well,
than in the '90s, where it felt like you saw the same faces all the goddamn time and the same production companies all the goddamn
I
time.
want to
So
I want to say some stuff about this. So I've always thought about like I think I mentioned this before about how people are way more selective about going to the movie theater than they were in previous years. I think in large part because of COVID, because I think after COVID, like theaters were no longer profitable for a bit. But then when theaters came back, people were way more selective because like they don't have nearly as much money as they used to. So people had to be way more selective of what they go see. That's why Barbie did well, yes, last year. That's why films that get like critical praise, apart from like Mario and Jurassic World, any movie that gets like a bunch of good word of mouth is bound to do way better than slop, I guess. Like because that's what we saw with Everything Ever All at Once. That movie did well because everyone saw word of mouth. We saw the same thing with Top Gun Maverick and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Those
Yeah, I agree.
movies like would have done nowhere near as well if it weren't for word of mouth. Whereas you saw last year with Indiana Jones 5 and The Flash, those like got terrible reviews and those bombed. So I think audiences are way more selective about what they go see. They don't see a movie because like an actor's in it, except maybe like Keanu Reeves, I guess. But whereas I think nowadays, you need word of mouth in order for a film to be successful.
Or Everything Everywhere.
Yeah, but wasn't like
that
but wasn't
film-
like Batman and Robin was like didn't do well in the box office because like everyone the word of mouth like so awful, and that's like stopped
the same argument.
The DC.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Just
a
like
new
that
thing,
era.
but it's not a new thing. But I think COVID really helped it fluctuate the whole like
I
you
mean,
need good word of mouth in order.
we
for
also
a film
can't
to
ignore
do
just
well.
streaming.
I mean, it kind of
Yeah,
helped
when I was
people
a
to
kid,
be
you
more
saw movies in the
open-minded
theater
about
or you went
things
to
after they've been
Blockbuster.
quarantined for a long time. So it basically made everyone feel like everyone felt self-reflective about things, and it basically made them feel a bit more selective about things.
I also think that the
Yeah.
average person, and people disagree with me on this, but I feel like as we talk about things like superhero fatigue or whatever fatigue, I think to an extent we're getting into a mediocre movie fatigue. Like
Except Mario,
yes.
though. Mario
Except
did well.
Mario,
Mario's
if you apply
Mario.
enough
Biggest
nostalgia, it
franchise
helps.
ever.
If you can apply enough nostalgia, sometimes it can break through that. But I do
And
think
Jurassic World Dominion and Jurassic World Dominion that also did well that
For
was
sure.
terrible.
But now keep in mind too, the thing those movies have in common also is that they're family movies, and so it's
Jurassic
like,
World a family movie?
yeah,
I would call it a family movie.
Yes,
I
yes.
would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would
Or
you
at
call
least
it
I would.
Quantumania a family movie? Because that was in
Which
par
one?
with those. Quantumania. Would
Yeah.
you consider that a family movie?
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. I didn't
children
catch
love
that.
I will
MODOK.
never. I will
They
never
were
watch
buying
that
MODOK.
movie.
Oh, Quantumania.
Yeah, they were making. Yeah,
Yes,
they
I
were
would.
buying
By the way.
MODOK. Everyone buying MODOK toys.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
There's
just
more
MODOK
like the
was
slime people in that
hilarious.
world.
I mean, there's gonna be people who are a bit more, meticulous about what their kids watch. But like, I'm definitely one of those kids who grew up on like Terminator 2, so all this stuff is like well within the kind of family movie idea. But it's
Adam, I actually have to bounce real quick.
Sure.
I just wanted to say, have you seen the Coker trilogy Criterion box set by Kiarostami?
I have it, but I have not watched the films within it.
Okay, never mind. I thought, because I was like, oh, the little whole paneling on the inside. I love the fact that it's like
Was it
revealing
Where's
the
My
movies
Friend's
deeper.
House?
But that's fine. That was all I was gonna say. I hope y'all
Okay.
have a good
Thank you
one.
for joining. I appreciate
Later,
it.
man.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Cheers.
Nico, your hand is up. What's up?
Just one question and a comment. Did watching Killers of the Flower Moon made you appreciate Oppenheimer?
No.
Because it was shorter. Oppenheimer.
No, I don't know what the connection is though.
Oppenheimer was like it could have been way better if it was just shorter. I would watch it again, honestly, but I don't.
That's a lot of
want
movies
to.
lately. Are they getting longer?
Well, last year's Best Picture noms were egregiously long.
Yeah, 4 hours.
But this year it seems like they've chilled a little bit.
Zone of Vengeance was under 2 hours, thankfully,
Yeah.
and I think American Fiction was under 2 hours, so that's good.
Yeah, there's
I feel
more
like the
than one
last-
movie under 2 hours this year.
I feel like I've seen way too many movies in the last year or two that I felt like, yep, this would have been a lot better if it was 20% shorter.
And
Yeah, I feel like I'm obligated to see these films just because, even if I'm aware about the runtime, that's like 3 hours or less.
Well, sometimes that works. Like I think The Assassination of Jesse James is perfectly, long. I think
Love that movie.
It suits
Oh.
it. But I think The Batman has a genuinely like a whole letter grade it could go up by just cutting a good 45 out of it.
Yeah, but
You're
I
not
just feel like
wrong
Bo's
about that.
Afraid, even though that one's long.
You're not wrong
like,
about that. Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't even
I
finish
do
the
disagree
Batman.
about cutting
Pretty
down
long.
certain run times. I feel like the benefit of a longer run time, whether it be 2 hours, 3 hours, or hell, even 4 hours, is that it can allow you to dive deep into the characters' lives, their minds,
If
the
that's what you
certain
do with
themes
it.
of a movie, and make people understand why we should care about these characters. And
Yeah, I think The Irishman pulled that off.
If it was a 3-hour
Yeah, I
comedy
barely
instead of a
noticed
3-hour
Irishman's
drama, then I would
length.
be more amused to that idea than just sitting through like a 3-hour epic historical drama.
You said you'd rather have a 3-hour comedy?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
pretty sure there's some
3-hour
examples I can think of, but
comedy.
See,
I
that's
think
funny.
rarely
I
I've seen
feel
those long movies that are like comedies.
well, right, because I think it would wear its welcome.
I
Imagine watching.
I wonder what we think about Andy Warhol's Empire, which is a
Oh,
6-hour
that's so
long
cool,
movie
so
staring at
boring.
the Empire State Building.
Is that the one that comes out in 100 years or
Or
Is that a
whatever?
real
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah, that's a real
would like to
movie.
add-
Oh wow.
Or I would
I
like
would
to
say-
add. Sorry, it's just that I would like to add that two other examples of the benefit of a long time. Both Bo is Afraid and Apocalypse Now. The Redux cut is that the benefit of a long runtime, depending on the point of the story, is to kind of get off the feeling of insanity and how long it has been that you're slowly starting to go insane.
Oh,
And-
And
did-
Dread
there's
too.
some-
Yeah.
Was
some
the
movies-
Nico? Was that it for your question? Your hand's still up. I wasn't sure.
No. Just one more.
Sure.
If you're gonna do like a Titanic watch along, I was just wondering
I have the 4K.
it on the 4K input because like there's like criticism going around that the digital noise reduction has ruined the film.
Uh-oh.
So,
Oh,
Well,
they
I
turned it
haven't
up
I
too
haven't
high.
bought the 4K. It's so funny. It's crazy. It seems like half of James Cameron's 4K Blu-rays are like terrible.
Yeah,
Everyone
the
looks like they're
Terminator 2 one
face-tuned.
isn't very good.
I've heard Terminator 2 is like one of the worst 4K Blu-rays you could ever buy.
There's like a
Yeah,
BPI
really?
filter on everything.
Yeah.
Everyone has
Wow.
no pores.
Yeah.
I was able to return it after I bought it when it came out.
I think with a lot of
Thankfully.
those, if they just tried to leave the noise alone as much as they could, like
And
people.
they
like
Yeah, I don't know
noise.
why
Screw
they
up with-
feel like they have to do that.
Yeah.
Is
I
the
wonder if they
Titanic?
have to.
Did
for
they
some
have
stuff.
screw up with like Citizen Kane 4K?
The
Criterion?
Criterion, I think the Blu-ray disc on the Criterion had like a visual issue where half the movie was darker.
A lot of
No,
it
it
was
was
the
the
color
4K.
theft
It
up
was the
too.
4K.
It was the 4K.
Yeah, and then they did
Yeah.
like the replacement program.
Okay, I was
I feel like
misinformed
color
then.
temperatures
Yeah.
get effed pretty often.
I really hope they don't fuck up the 4K of The Abyss when that comes out in March.
I want the 4K of True Lies to be good. Is Titanic the next Sardonicast recommendation? Is that why you're doing a
No.
watch along?
I didn't say I was. That was a suggestion.
Oh.
What if someone does a 4K rendition of Wish Upon?
I think they
I
should
would
do a
buy it.
4K of Cade, the Tortured Crossing, but Neil is weird.
Yes.
Yes.
That would be
Slough,
But you
what's
would never
up?
do it.
Oh,
based.
so regarding the long movies, I have a recommendation.
Yes.
And I know you don't like Bellatar, but Werkmeister Harmonies. It is a long film. But
That's
oh
that's my
God.
last chance I'm giving him. I've
I-
decided that a
by
long
the way,
time ago. That's my last chance
I
I'm
love
giving
The
him.
Man from London, my favorite is Werkmeister Harmonies. It's wow.
Yeah, I keep watching his movies, and then after people are like, "Damn, he hasn't even seen one of his good ones." I'm like, "Well,
This was like
I thought
I felt like it was
Satan
slow,
Tango
but
is not considered a good one.
I don't
Dude,
know."
I've been getting
was
that.
slow, but
I've been
it
getting
felt
that with
like I
fucking
was-
Imagine Dragons lately.
Sorry.
Go for
It
it.
was slow,
People were like,
but I
"Oh, you
felt
just
like
haven't
I
heard
was
one of their good songs."
Yeah, it was slow, but I felt like I was, discovering something. Like, whoa, this is like, I've never seen this. Like, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen this
Thank
that
you.
has been going around the news in the background right here?
I don't know if that's real.
No,
thought
it
it
is
was
real. It was actually
It is real. It's
What
real.
is it?
It's real as in who's selling it.
It's a Dune
Starbucks, I
popcorn
heard?
bucket. It's a Dune popcorn bucket, so you can
Oh,
stick your
popcorn.
you can stick your dick in that, and you'll get cum flavored popcorn.
I don't know if I believe it's real. Like,
What?
who's fact checked that?
Well, long live the fighters who decided to create this popcorn bucket.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I don't know
That's
if I believe
real.
that's real.
Yeah.
I mean,
Next
if
thing
it
you-
was, it's good viral marketing.
I guess.
I didn't even know about it until today.
I know, me too. I saw it on Facebook. Like,
Yeah, this
a
is
couple hours
news to
ago.
me.
They're when I went to go see Zone of Interest at the theater they still had like a fuck ton of like overstocked Wish themed popcorn buckets that they're just giving away, and I almost took one, but I just didn't want it.
Popcorn bucket from
That's
Wish.
fucking
Yeah,
funny.
don't entertain them. Don't entertain them.
Just have it be there until the next
Please
Disney
take
movie
our
comes out.
popcorn buckets, please.
You could at least use it just in case for like any emergencies.
Jay, what's up?
Oh yeah, Adam.
Yes.
I remember last year you mentioned about this movie, and I wonder if there's any time for like any room at least for your next watch along. I wonder when or how soon are you gonna watch Soul Man?
Soul Man? Yeah, at some point.
Because I noticed that they already posted a full movie on YouTube, but you want to be high crisp and all, but also these blurry things to be.
Well, I was
like
gonna
Soul does
watch
is,
it
like-
at one point,
Oh,
and I was gonna get
wait.
Cappy F to watch it, and then he was like, "Not on Martin Luther King Day or whatever it was, or was it like Juneteenth or something?" And I was
Oh
like,
my
"Okay,
God.
well,
It was Black History Month.
Black
We were
History.
trying
Oh
to
yeah, it
get
was
it
Black
in
History Month."
February.
My
I
concern
just
for
realized
you,
what you're talking about. Oh my god.
the
Bro,
trouble with
you
this
know,
movie,
so there was a shitty movie I watched called Soul Plane recently. That's like basically an airplane
Oh, we
knockoff,
know
but it's
it.
all black people.
I've heard of it.
I was gonna maybe I had the idea of either recommending it as an Adam and Pals or maybe sending it to Skook just to see what his reaction to it. But then I thought it's so close to Black History Month, I don't know if I want to do that.
Mhm.
I think my concern for you with watching that movie is that there is basically one gimmick that immediately makes you go, "Oh wow, that's crazy. This is really entertaining. How cringy and ridiculous that premise is." But then that's kind of all there is, and so you have to spend,
Yeah.
aside from that, it's basically how many times have they made? What's that Amanda Bynes movie? She's the Man. Like it's one of the 800 versions of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Plane was actually torturous to get through. I
Soul
watched it
Plane's
because
What's funny is that the director of Soul Man, he still managed to get worked afterwards, and I'm surprised he didn't get canceled.
It was
early
the
or at least fired from it.
'80s.
It was the 80s. It was easier to get away with.
Nobody
directed some of the
saw
Friday the
anything wrong with
13th
it.
movies.
he did. Which
2
Friday
and
the 13th?
3.
Oh,
2
he
and
did-
3.
Oh, 2 and 3, huh?
Yeah.
I know
He also did
part
H2O.
I know that part 5's director was basically just did porn before he did Friday the 13th or something.
Yeah, that's the
Oh, yeah,
sleaziest one.
Someone in your chat is saying that the popcorn bucket is originally from AMC's TikTok account. It's a real collectible item they are going to sell. By
Collectible.
Miyaku.
Very nice.
Collectibles. What about for the first movie? Did I miss one?
I love a popcorn bucket that like scratches my arm as I
I
reach
know, right?
into it.
Yeah. And like it scrapes the popcorn out of your hand as you pull
Maybe
it out.
it's rubber.
It probably is, but still.
It is rubber,
looks
I think.
It looks very.
How big
annoying.
is it?
Even so, I would feel so fucking uncomfortable putting my hand in that.
It's like a monkey
Yeah.
putting his hand in.
It's
jar
like
and trying to
a
grab
piece of
popcorn out.
plastic. Plastic doesn't look like super structurally, like
No.
it's secure. It looks like it'll fall off, and then you just eat a piece of plastic.
Or
Also,
I got one.
I
This
thought their
thing
buckets
looks
were
like the
like paper.
This thing looks like the Rolo egg maker where you crack 3 eggs.
Oh, the Rolly.
Roll
Oh,
the
that
egg.
thing?
Yeah. It looks like you can crack eggs in this thing and it will come out like a spear. Not a spear, a cylinder. Cylinder of egg.
I
Kiki,
can't
what's up?
stop looking at it. It's just it commands
I will
attention.
buy 12 of them.
I'm buying. I want one, and I want to bring it to one of the live streams here. I want to have some popcorn. That'd be pretty good.
I'm gonna wear it as a hat.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
I know
Oh,
that
shit.
another weird popcorn bucket I know of is like at Universal Studios, that like Nintendo World, I think they have like a Mario Kart themed popcorn bucket, but like it's so weird how it looks. There, I'll even see if I can find it.
Kiki, what's up?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I guess on the subject of like movie stars and things like that, I think kind of maybe part of why the concept has kind of like changed is how accessible celebrities are nowadays, like with things like Twitter.
Mhm.
Like it almost removes that sort of barrier between the audience and the people in a way. It makes them people when you can like see them just on social media, talk to them in theory, and just have that have that level of accessibility to them.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
sorry.
No, I'm not gonna interrupt you. Don't
No,
say something.
I had a different thought, so let's do one
Oh,
thing
well, I
at a
just want to
time.
say I agree with you. I think it's all these things, though. I think that's why it's a culture shift, is because it's not that there was like this one thing we can point to that all shifted on. It's the saturation of how much more room there is for like higher level actors. I think also there's more of these. The Quentin Tarantino has talked about the same idea. And part of his, explanation is the MCU specifically. And I think insofar as that the MCU introduced a lot of very famous characters in ensemble situations where they would have their standalone movies, but we all want to see them get together in the Avengers. So every one of those guys carries a lot less weight than Rambo carries in the movie about Rambo. And there's 10 of these movies that are all about that one guy. Like if Rambo had to fight with Commando guy and the Terminator and so all the time, then they all would have probably been individually a little less famous. But like we used to make bigger vehicles out of people. Like Captain America isn't like the guy; he's a part of an ensemble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess on the subject of the whole Bellatar thing, I haven't seen too many of his movies. Like I thought Satin Tango was okay. Like it has elements about it that I like. I think it is a little unnecessarily doomer to a bit of a grating degree.
Which one?
But
Satan Tango.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Shatan Tango or something like that.
The Man from London feels like it's a lot more deliberately paced, and the Werkmeister
Yeah.
harmonies, which is why I enjoyed them. Like they're not as long.
Yeah. Sorry, Borg.
Yeah,
I just saw
Workmeister
your,
Harmony seems doable. I
message.
can't bother with Satan Tango. It's too long for me.
Like it's an interesting pilgrimage for people make, but I don't know if this is like sacrilege of me to say, but I honestly do feel like a lot of the praise surrounding it comes from people wanting to justify having spent 7 hours watching it.
I
Well,
Yeah.
tell me this.
I agree
It's
with
a
that.
gimmick. It's like kind of a gimmick movie.
Yep.
Wouldn't this work if you were to just binge it as a miniseries? Like you go from structure 1, pause it from there, and you can go back
Right.
tomorrow for like structure 2.
Like the Snyder Cut.
I mean, maybe, but like I guess more of my issues just have to do more with like the film itself rather than the fact that it's 7 hours. Like
I think it's
not
also
to say that like I'm not a huge fan. Sorry, I'm having a stroke. Yeah,
Go to the
it's
hospital.
like it's not that like I love the fact that the movie is 7 hours or anything, but it's like it's not at the forefront of my criticisms of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
There's other more glaring
Yeah,
things. Right?
there's other things to look at there, but like as
Right.
far as like the anthology thing is concerned, it's like Decalogue is literally an anthology like series of films that Christoph what's his name made.
Mhm.
Kislovsky. Yeah.
Kislovsky.
Yeah, it's like I thought that was brilliant, and I think it executes a concept like that a bit more effectively. And it's like it's proof that it's like you can do long form content if you know how to do it properly and have something great to say.
Well, and
It's
hopefully
like,
the length
yeah,
reinforces some kind of theme in your film. Like that's most of my favorite movies that have a really, a 3 hour plus runtime. Most of them anyway. There's probably some exceptions like Titanic,
yeah, that's
but
the thing.
most of them
Yeah.
it actually like for instance, The Irishman is my favorite example because if you think about Goodfellas being about young gangsters new to the thing and it's all about living fast and dying young, then The Irishman is about all the guys who never died. And it's like, so there's this long plotting, just thinking about your life and reflecting on what you've done and who you've become. And so it being so long, it slows all the action down. So it has a very different vibe to Goodfellas, which feels like it's flying at the speed of light. And so when you have a movie where you feel like the themes are not matching with that length, like the Batman, then you're just like, okay, this scene was good, and now we've jumped the horn, and now I don't even like the scene anymore because it's gone for 40% too long. Like there's a lot of movies I want to go through and just kind of take 20% out of every scene. It's not like I would cut any whole themes or whole scenes out. It's just
Yeah.
every scene could be a little shorter, and before you know it, the whole movie's an hour shorter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like it's amazing how even like a second or two can really add up
Oh
in
yeah.
certain films. Like
100%.
it's like I really love Reservoir Dogs, but I feel like it consistently has this thing where I feel like a scene goes on for like 10 seconds too long or something like
It's
that.
possible because I see that too. I know what you mean. There's a lot of
Editing.
edits there's a lot of
Uh-huh.
edits that stick out that are really good are because you're like, that was just exactly like a second longer or later. That's wrong. Or just like, little like the end of Kill List, maybe like one of my favorite editing choices that is such a kind of non-diegetic crazy choice, but it's like there's a lot of other ways to have run that scene that would have been much longer, and keeping it as concise as they did by using some of the techniques that they used in the editing. It's like, yeah, you can get impact without having to have everything have this like long build up to and then pay off and then long build up to and then pay off.
Yeah, it's
I gotta interrupt. So we're gonna. I need to. I'm in the middle of doing my Sundance stuff, and these are all like things that expire and timed online things.
yes.
So I will be wrapping this up pretty soon. So we're gonna go to the part where everybody gets a final question / comment, and I will go in order that I see on the screen. People raise their hands or whatever, and then I'll just go through whoever has their hand raised. Yeah. So sorry, I was a bit distracted for the last 20 minutes. I'm sure you could see me like looking over there. I was going through the award winners and then buying some more tickets for some things that looked interesting just because they were selling out for Sundance stuff. So all right, let's go with Slough.
So for 2016, I'm sorry I'm keep asking you this question. I'm just passionate.
Mhm.
Very good year. What would you say is your second favorite behind The Handmaiden? Is it Graduation or?
I don't know. Let's see. See what my short list looks like. There's so many titles on this. There's a few nines in there. It's tough. There's a lot of good movies. I would have to. I would like. There's a bunch of them I need to watch for a second time.
Patterson,
So
just great movie.
yeah, I wish I could give a definitive answer here, but I can't. And also, this list is going to be like the most fucking long, stupid one ever because,
That means it's worth it.
I'm doing like TV shows and stuff for it too, which I'm never going to do again because this is just not sustainable. But, yeah. So there's some.
Is there any television shows that are on the list?
Yeah. Mostly
But
like miniseries stuff.
Yeah, but but thanks for recommending me the Graduation because I also love that movie, and in general, I love your content. I
Thank you so much.
love it.
Yeah, I like the director a lot. Even though his
He's
most
great.
recent film was not a hit for me, but most of what he makes is great. It's got some good stuff. Rishi, what's up?
So, Adam,
Yes.
aside from movies and occasionally some TV shows, you tend to review things that while related to movies are things that are related to movies, like the hot tub theater thing that you
Yes.
did.
That was
I
a
feel like there
crazy
is
thing.
I feel like if there is one thing, I think it's about time you kind of expand into theme parks, because there is one theme park ride that is so horrible, so misguided, that I feel like it needs the YMS overlook
What is
and like
it?
the YMS touch to it. I call it, in Hollywood and Orlando, Fast and Furious Supercharged.
I think I might have talked about that in my.
You went on, you went
The
on
Florida
that in the
one.
vacation highlight.
Yeah, I talk about
Yeah,
that in
you
my
had the
in a
Florida
highlights video
one.
actually. It was very
Is that the
silly.
one Drew Gooden talked
So
about?
if you want me to talk,
What are your
if you,
thoughts
there,
on it?
it was hilarious. It was bad, and it like broke halfway through, as in like it like
Poseidon's Fury fucking
Oh.
sucked too.
yeah, it did.
Also, isn't the park kind of like half the
I heard
stuff
they
there is
shut
just
it
dated
down.
from like 2000s?
Good. Sorry, what?
good.
Didn't you say that half the park in Universal was just stuff from like 20 years ago?
Oh yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It
Mm.
was pathetic.
Look,
I've
I-
actually never been to Universal. I want to at some point as like a bucket
No
list
point.
thing, but there's no point.
Don't need to.
And not even for Mario
this-
World.
Oh, do they have Mario World in
You better
Universal
go to the
now? Is that
Hollywood
where it
one, but
is?
Not Florida.
Yeah, Mario World's at Universal, I think.
Oh well,
It's
I'll
at-
go. I'll check that out. That's
Mm.
crazy. That's in Universal Studios.
I enjoyed like the little Harry Potter segment of the park, but like,
Well, too bad,
I don't
Harry. It's
know.
too bad.
I
It's
think-
now called Turfland.
I think it's more
Yeah.
like a
mean
collaboration
turf?
rather than the fact that they actually own it. That Universal collaborated with Warner Brothers to bring that to life, kind of like was the case with the Simpsons ride and the
Disney.
Super Nintendo World. And yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll check out the Mario Land at some point, but like
Hmm.
the rest of the whole Universal Studios theme park is like mostly embarrassing. Also, Hewlett fan, I know you
Eh.
just got here. We're ending pretty soon, so everybody's
Yeah.
doing their
Alright.
like final
I know.
questions
Anyways,
and
Get
comments.
one quick question in. if
Sure, go
that's
for
okay.
it. Yeah, go for it
Sure.
now. If
I'll see you
if have it.
soon.
All right, bye, Rishi.
Long
Thank you.
Bye,
live
Rishi.
the
Bye.
very sus popcorn
Later.
market.
Thank you.
See ya.
What's up, Hewlett fan? Did you have?
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, my question. Okay. What is the most like conflicted? Oh no, I think I've asked this before. Oh no, maybe I haven't. What is
I
the
can
most
come back to you
conflicted-
if you want.
Okay, sure. Yeah. What is
Alright.
the most conflicted you've ever been on like a score? Have you ever been unable to decide on like a score for a particular film? 'Cause it was just,
Most
like,
conflicted?
yeah, just like
I don't know if I
like,
could rank
survive
my
a 10
conflicting.
or like
Waterworld was a tough one. I couldn't decide between a 2 or a 3.
How do you rate the confliction? Was that a 6 closer to a 5 or?
Waterworld.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Depends on the movie.
You need to play Waterworld on Virtual Boy.
No, I don't.
No,
Yes, you do.
Don't
Yes,
burn
you
his
do.
don't burn his fucking eyeballs out.
All right, Travis, what's up?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask: have you seen any of the Curse, the new Nathan Fielder
No, I'll be
show?
doing a watch along. I just like Sundance and Oscars stuff. I'm trying to just like pump out first because those have like timed. You know, after a certain point in time, it's like there's no point making a Sundance video like months later, and then I want to get my Oscars video out before the Oscars happen.
You don't
So-
have much Oscar stuff to watch this year.
No,
thankfully,
which
'cause
is
you
great.
watched-
I can
Yeah, I
fucking
was
plow
surprised
through
about
those.
that.
I'm so happy.
Apart from one, I still have to watch.
You apart from documentaries, I only have like 3 movies that I plan on
Yeah.
watching: Napoleon, Need, and Society of the Snow. I'm gonna watch those because those got more than one nomination. And my rule is, unless excluding documentaries and shorts and animated films, if a film gets nominated for more than one Oscar, I have to watch it. But if it's just one nom, I'm not gonna watch
Yeah.
it. So that's why I'm skipping Color Purple, Rustin, and Golda, basically.
Yeah.
I'll I'll
try to see
skip
as
through
many
them
as
and pretend I
possible.
watched them and
Yeah.
rate them on IMDb.
Yeah.
They're doing
Has
I
another
think
Theo
this year
got
I'm just gonna skip
Damn.
any short film that's been nominated, but
Movie
I'll probably
Bob
watch
was
one
right.
documentary or foreign film nomination.
What about documentary and foreign film?
I said I'll probably focus more on like one documentary that's probably gonna win, one foreign film that's
Yeah,
gonna win, and the short film
I'm,
stuff I'm probably gonna skip this year.
Well, we know what is winning in the foreign film category anyway because it's nominated for Best Picture.
20 Days in Mariupol is probably going to win documentary because it's the one about Ukraine and the early days of the Ukraine war, essentially, and it's going to be another like Russia bad. Give it
Yeah,
that
maybe.
nom. It's free on
I haven't
YouTube.
even looked at the list of documentaries yet, but I'll do that later.
20 Days in Mariupol is free on YouTube at least, and then
Oh,
I think
okay.
you watched two of the documentaries that got nominated. Eternal Memory and Four Daughters got documentary nominations.
cool.
So
I loved Four Daughters.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
good. So the 95 Cents is a documentary short that it's going to get removed at the end of the month. You said?
Yeah, I put the link in chat. There if
Yeah,
you wanna
I've
watch
got
it,
a
so-
tab open, so I'll just try to
I'm gonna
remember to
pull
do
that
that.
I put a link. It's
Yeah,
it's
if
way
there's
over in
any
the
other
chat.
like weird, like time sensitive thing with shorts, the shorts are always the toughest to find. So if there's any, if you
I only
spot
knew that
some and
because,
if you're aware of any restrictions, just let me know and I will
That's the only one I
prioritize
know
those.
that has a restriction. Most of the shorts just aren't on the internet. I think.
Yeah,
It's
they
a weird
usually
thing.
it usually like
I
takes a month or whatever, and then
have-
they might be released as a package or something sometimes.
I
but-
have a theater near me that like shows all of the shorts, like all 15 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything like that around you though.
They exist. But not every year and not consistently, and like it'll be missing some or like yeah, it's not a reliable way to do it, unfortunately.
I'll have to. I haven't seen the shorts this year, so I don't know.
Well, you gotta
like,
watch 95 Cents as soon because it's gonna disappear at the end of the month. But I put a link in chat so if you want to watch
Thank
it right
you.
now, you can. It's only like 13 minutes, so it's not too much of a commitment. So I'm just gonna put that up there. The only reason I knew about that is because I think Phil Lord on Twitter like mentioned how great it is, and then retweet about how it's only gonna be here for the month and it's gonna go away
Mhm.
for some reason. But the rest of them I have no idea about what's happening for the other shorts. I'm probably gonna skip most of them, but I want to watch the animated ones at least because I like animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I'll probably focus on
Yeah.
like all the animation shorts, but the live action shorts, get the heck out of here. Well, they did nominate Wes Anderson shorts, so that was kind of
The Wes
interesting.
Anderson one's gonna win, and I'm predicting ABC's Book Band is gonna win documentary just because it's a liberal short, and it seems like the perfect thing for the Oscars gave it to because of the name.
Yeah.
All right.
I genuinely wonder what's going to win Best Animated Feature this year. I wonder if they will.
Spider-Man.
It's gonna be
Spider-Man's gonna win Best Animated
Oh
Feature.
no, Spider-Man. Yeah, but I wonder if Elementals or fucking Wish could snap them because it's
Wish
with
is not
Disney, and that would-
nominated.
that-
They
oh,
didn't
good. Good.
And
Nothing.
Elemental has no chance.
Oh,
Actually,
just
maybe
wonder whether-
that'd be funny, but
I want to know whether like it would finally expose them for being a sham. Like, okay, no, there's no way they're better than like they've someone.
the
paid them or
sham
something like that
sham
would write
award
them.
this year is going to be if Oppenheimer wins sound over Zone of Interest. That'll be like, okay, you have no media literacy.
Yeah.
That'll
Has
be
Barbie-
like that
oh, yeah, that's
time
great, yeah.
fucking
That'll be yeah.
Dunkirk won over Baby Driver for sound editing.
Oh yeah,
like-
or
That in
Bohemian
film
Rhapsody.
editing.
Or
Yeah, that's
Bohemian
fucking
Rhapsody
insane sound
editing.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
fun.
yeah, that's fucking insane.
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
What's your question?
So, forgive me if I sound a bit tired. I've
I
been,
forgive you.
Unpacking in the middle of the move.
You're forgiven.
My question would be: what has been an experience in a film festival so disappointing that you never went to said film festival again?
Well, I've been avoiding doing Sundance in person, not because of any particular experience, but just because the infrastructure is not like properly set up in a convenient way. A bunch of the theaters you have to take like a 20-minute Uber to like get to. They're all spread out, and it's like
That's
yeah, it's
horrible.
disgusting, and it's so expensive, and
Yeah, I
like
remember.
the selection isn't as good as TIFF, and like
Most of them are first timers.
Hmm?
Most of the Sundance films are usually first timers.
Yeah, a huge chunk of them, and then just like the fact that it happens like late January is just like a weird time to do it. You don't get any of the like con runoff, Like you don't get it. Like there's just, it's just not a great. It's not ideal for like it's its own thing, and it's just not as good as everything else that's happening from May through November. So I just do online, and I know that means that I don't get the same selection. So a lot of the buzzier titles, like I'm not able to see the new Jane Sjoberg or the new Steven Soderbergh. But who cares? I'll see them eventually. It's not worth the
Yeah,
time and
they'll
energy
be
and
big
money
in the
and
theaters anyway.
inconvenience of going to Sundance. Maybe I'll be back there again if I like win the lottery or something, and I just don't get a lot of free time and
Fair.
like I don't know, spend most of my time skiing and then just catch a couple movies. I don't know, boarding. But yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fair. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. Boards of Cinema, what's up?
Yeah. Just another quick question.
Mhm.
Are you planning to do a watch along for Hazbin Hotel? Because
I'm not planning on it.
Sorry.
It could happen. I'm not planning on it though.
Well,
I
you're
went
lucky you still
back
have
and-
Amazon Prime after you watch The Lord of the Rings.
Are they changing Amazon Prime so it's like I get
That's
ads now? Apparently,
Yeah, that's happening next. They're proposing it next Monday, actually. So that's
So what am I
unfortunate.
paying for already?
Well, for your free shipping on Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, anyway, the reason I asked about Hazbin Hotel is because I went back and watched the YMS highlight when you
Mhm.
reacted to the pilot, and I'm just curious if we could have similar criticisms now that the show's out.
I don't even remember my criticisms.
Your criticisms seem to mainly be about like there was so much like swearing and drugs that you were saying it probably wasn't going to get picked up.
Yeah.
Which
that's
A24
kinda funny.
got
Yeah.
it.
Which, by the way, yeah, I've been watching quite a bit, and the swearing is pretty minimal compared to the pilot. So it feels more like self-restrained.
There's
Yeah, I
a
don't
lot of
know.
swearing, but yeah, I personally like it, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I
think it's
mean,
okay.
I've only seen the first 4 episodes, but I'm enjoying it for what it is. But it's not perfect, I'd say. But
I don't think it's perfect
Yeah,
either,
I
but I
agree.
do have an affinity for it.
Hmm.
I feel I mean, we can all agree that this is the same company who did Euphoria and thought The Idol would be a good
Yeah.
follow after Euphoria. They know what they're doing.
For the show, I personally really like Keith David as Husk. He's probably like
Everybody
the
likes
best
Keith
thing in the
David.
entire show for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
he's,
thought
he's a
difficult
very
one
good
to-
voice actor.
He did a good job. There's just something so distracting about him. I think it's just how famous he is.
There was
I
an
heard
actor.
you say
who
how
was-
thick his voice is, like Scar in
I
Lion
feel
King.
like I like him a lot better than Mick Rice Pirate, who did the voice for the character originally. I feel like there's something about like the
It is
character
better.
that Keith David just kind of like oozes his like own sort of persona and personality and
You mean
characteristic
fursona.
into the character. Persona, yes.
Also, he wears
Like,
pants and doesn't have a weird featureless crotch like in
Yeah.
the pilot.
yeah, exactly. And also, this is the same guy who voiced Spawn. What can
He
I
was
say?
also
It's
the
like
he was also the bad guy in Princess and the Frog, so you know what you're coming with,
Yes.
especially with his singing abilities.
We got to move it
Yes.
along. BC 467. What's up?
Okay, so we all know. I just need to know, how hyped are you to review Madam Web next month?
I'm so hyped that I tried to buy tickets already, but they're not selling them.
It's webbing time.
Oh,
Let me buy the
webbing
tickets. I'm trying to buy the
time.
tickets.
Ewan.
It's happening
Yeah,
on
I-
Valentine's Day. I'm just gonna be like, fuck my boyfriend. I'm not hanging out with you.
What are you?
I
what are
mean,
you
you're supposed to
doing,
on
Sony?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we're not gonna be in the same city, so we
Sony,
might do
you wanna
VR chat or
hit?
something. But if Madame Web comes out, I'm gonna have to be like, sorry.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
I'm hyped as. I mean,
I'm the most
excited,
hyped
like,
I've ever been for a movie.
It's gonna be.
It does look
It's
very
gonna be
funny.
I'm.
It's gonna be the It's gonna be the feel good comedy of the year.
That's it.
You gotta
That's
see
it.
it in the
like
dankest
Skyrim with
way
guns.
possible.
Also, the last time I went to a theater, I got the trailers for fucking Night Swim and Madam Web back to each other.
Oh,
like
yeah.
right back to back, and they both have the same fucking Billie Eilish song.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
It's like I just heard this fucking song. I don't want to hear it again.
Bro, you know,
More
I've
like Day
they
Swim, am I right?
every theater I went to the past couple of months, even this happened to its own interest screening I was at, they've been playing the same Disney World commercial like 3 times in a row, so it got really on my nerves and stuff. Which they've been playing the same trailers over and over again. Like that Argyle trailer, I've seen that like a billion fucking times
me
every
too.
movie
Yeah.
I've seen. I've seen it.
Somebody
It's
let me know when I can buy Madame Web tickets.
I will post on the subreddit when that happens.
Thank you. I need
I
them.
mean, at the very least, Dakota Johnson as Madam Web will probably have more emotions than she did in 50 Shades of Grey.
Olivia,
she was okay
I'm
in,
very sorry that you had to hear that the Billie Eilish twice in 2 trailers.
She was pretty good in Suspiria.
All right, was that it? BC 460.
I think actually no. I don't. I thought I had another question, but I lost my train of thought, so I'm done now. I think.
That's okay. Any other final questions or comments before I wrap this up?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, go for it.
About 3 years ago, I asked you what you thought about streaming services and the future of this issue that I foresee them is because I feel like I know I do it, where I'll get a streaming service to watch the show that came out or the movie that came out, and then when it's over, it's like, well, I don't really watch anything on this anymore, so I guess I'll just get rid of it, like Apple TV for Severance or whatever, right? The thing I was bringing up was the idea that like if you're going to a streaming service to watch like MCU movies, but you've already seen all of them, or you do watch all of them, then it's hard to have an incentive to keep you along. Obviously, the MCU puts out hella movies all the time, so they're kind of working that out. But is that back then? You said you didn't really think that would be a problem. Has your opinion changed over the last 3 years?
Well, now that there's so many, and now that groceries have gotten 10 times more expensive, then yeah, it's more of a problem, I guess. It's people have to be more mindful of their expenses.
This is why this goes back to my analysis about like people way more selective of films, like with inflation and stuff. Like people only have time to see one movie. That's why, as I said, Barbie did well. That's why Everything Everywhere All at Once did well. People just need to be way more selective about what they see. Basically,
everyone's just trying to find ways to save money now. So
yeah, when I was a kid, people used to
why
just
would
be
we?
like, hey, it's Friday, let's go see a movie, and I don't do that so often anymore.
Why would we give to monthly subscriptions that we don't have to?
I'm probably going to cancel my Paramount Plus subscription once I'm done with Eternal Memory because that's
You better.
Paramount Plus film, and then after that I'm just going to cancel it because it charges me on Sunday, so I gotta watch it probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
I guess.
You don't want to watch Halo Season 2?
Oh shit!
I forgot about
Damn,
that.
what day is that coming out?
Master Cheeks?
February 8th, I think.
Oh shit, that's so soon.
Who
They're not
paid
dropping
for
the
it?
whole thing though, so maybe I could wait. Let's see. Are they?
I was gonna save it for the watch along for you to do for the curse, but honestly, I think I've already seen the curse. There's no point in keeping it. I think.
Yeah, or you could just torrent. I mean, you could
make a tortilla.
Make a snack.
Yeah,
that
idea. I like to share tortillas with people on my server.
Yeah, so the whole Halo show is not going to be released until like March 21st. So I don't have to do that right on February 8th. First 2 episodes are February 8th, but then
Man, I wasn't
they're
like
doing it weekly.
that familiar with Halo lore when I saw season 1, and it's like this is still, even as someone not invested in the series,
still
this is
awful.
not good.
Damn, no episodes are directed by role. We're not gonna get any dude butts.
No.
I mean, does it really matter at this point?
Yes.
The show's already a shit show to begin with.
I mean, but he was the voice.
He had the
he was the
gayest
cheeks.
ones. Master Cheeks.
He was the voice of the cheeks.
He master queefed in his nuts.
Meat Boy, do you have a question or comment? Final question, Meat Boy, your mate.
Oh yeah, sorry, I accidentally I muted myself.
Go for
So I have a quick question. I remember watching your tip stream from last year, and then when you come across like there was a martial arts movie you came across. You know, you mentioned something like, "Oh, it's a good martial arts," but like, you know, everything else seems like it seems boring to you. So I have like a twofold question on that, and maybe that goes to like the rest of like your folks as well. I'm kind of curious, like in terms of when you see like a film called martial art, like, do you distinguish that as its own genre, or would you just blend it with other action films?
It depends how heavily it's being portrayed, I guess.
Mhm.
You know, is every cube's a quadrilateral, but not every quadrilateral is a cube, right?
Mhm.
So like
Yeah.
a martial arts film is gonna presumably be an action film, but you know, it's a subgenre, I guess.
hmm So what if like, how would you feel if like you watch like in the future or something, or like if you watch like a martial arts movie and then like how things were choreographed is interrelated with like personality, with like characteristic, you know, and the themes of the movie. Would you say like at this point like the action felt more special than your average action movie? Let's say John Wick 4.
Are you
'Cause,
asking
like,
me about the
'cause what?
specific movie that I was talking about in my TIFF review? Because I couldn't even tell you which
No, I'm
one.
just like that. That little comments makes me think about like how the roots. I think what I'm trying to get at is that like a lot of martial arts movies where like it's called martial art because like it's an art, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's always like fighting with dancing.
Yeah.
Where like you can argue something with John Wick that's the similar thing, but you
John
know
Wick has martial
if you
arts in
go
it.
into yeah, but like if you go to like, you know, the traditional martial arts theology, it's basically like a lot of the moves stands from the personality of a character.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, there's different like
yes.
fighting styles.
Yeah.
Wushu.
Yeah.
Yeah, wushu, wuxia, you know, all these kind
Drunken
of
Master.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I
what-
was wondering like, yeah, my bad.
I'm just wondering what the question is, sorry.
Yeah, at the end of the day, my question is like, would you like view martial arts in the same way as like other action film? I think that's the root of the question I'm trying to get at.
Are they a separate genre? Is that what you're asking?
I mean,
would
like,
you treat
yes
them
and
as a separate
no.
genre or just like John Wick? Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
I see what you
it's a yes and no. It's like a subgenre. It depends. It depends on how prominent it is in the movie, and it depends on how it does it.
Okay.
I guess, say that, like,
yeah,
The
it's just
Raid is
not a
closer to
blanket
John Wick
rule.
But then like Crouching Tiger.
I
is
think
closer
the
to
raid.
Obama.
Yeah, I think like the raid is closer to John Wick, although the raid is like much more ambitious with its goal, in my opinion. But I think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Drama. Sorry.
There you go.
Crouching
That's
Tiger,
the
Hidden
answer.
Drama.
That's it.
Hidden Drama. I spoiled it. No.
Yeah, right.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I felt like there's much more like intrigues when it comes to like the actions, right? It's really really deeply tied in with like the personalities and the personality and what the characters want in their life, just in terms of like how they fight.
Combat is less of a main character.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If I'm thinking of the right movie, that's kind of like Wire Fu, also, right?
Yeah,
They're, like,
but
flying
Came
everywhere.
around the
Liberty
same
was
time as The Matrix, I believe, or at
Yeah.
least a year
Yeah,
afterwards.
it's same.
Yeah, I'll rewatch that.
Choreographer.
I'd like to
It's
rewatch it.
Oh,
I
did you like that film, Adam?
Crouching Tiger?
Did you like that? Yeah.
From what I remember, I liked it, but I just don't remember much.
He has it part of the Sony Classic 4K collection, I think, because that
Correct.
goes to New York, so that's he owns
Yeah.
it, 4K.
You know what's sad? I was
curious-
looking yesterday to buy Taxi Driver in 4K.
Yeah, it's part of the fucking set.
Yeah, they still don't have a standalone. It's just like the fucking
That fucking sucks.
200 like, and I couldn't even find a set. I couldn't even find it. Like, even if I wanted to spend like whatever it's worth now, I couldn't even find it that it would show up in like a day. So
You know what sucks? I keep looking for Killers of the Flower Moon in 4K. It exists, but only in Italy, I think. Whereas
Oh,
there's no
really?
U-
Oh shit! What?
Really?
Yeah, for some
What?
reason. Yeah, for some reason, Italy and I think some other European countries, Killers of the Flower Moon is in 4K, but there's no American release date. Unless if it gets a Criterion, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's
see.
gonna get a Criterion.
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to wait
Um,
another month just to
Although, like, the Irishman was Criterion, and like Criterion has like a special deal with Netflix, but Killers of the Flower Moon is Apple TV, which I
Yeah,
don't.
that's true.
Has there ever been an
Oh,
Apple
yeah.
TV Plus Criterion?
No,
Not
but maybe
yet.
maybe they'll change it. I don't know.
I don't know. There will
I would
probably
like
be
to
a 4K Blu-ray somewhere anyway. They'll probably make one.
Was the Velvet Underground Apple TV Plus? Because I think that has a
I
Criterion.
think so. I think
Oh,
so.
I don't know.
It does.
Was
Yeah.
that it, Meat Boy?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. I gotta
Thank
go
you.
play some games, but
Cool.
love you guys all.
Have fun.
Bye, Meat Boy.
Bye
Bye bye. Love you
Bye.
guys. You
Bye.
guys are awesome.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me, Adam.
Of course. Peace. Kiki, what's up?
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about Poor Things a little bit
Sure.
because my watch list so far for 2024 has been very vast and diverse. I've seen Poor Things, and then I saw Poor Things, and then
Beavers.
hey, look up
And
in the
then-
rafters. It's Poor Things again.
And
You
then
saw-
the beaver.
Yeah, Hundreds of Beavers I'm seeing in February again, so
Oh,
that's gonna be fun.
Actually, I remember the
And-
question I had earlier. It was related to Hundreds of Beavers that I'd lost my train
Sure.
of thought.
You could.
I
You
have a
could.
question.
Yeah. Do you
that's
want to
it.
like? Yeah. If you want to do that now, sure. Go for
I'll
it.
just make it out of the way because before I lose my train
Yeah.
of thought. So I'm seeing it in February, and it's going to be the cast and crew. It's going to be at my screening. Did the cast and crew was that your screening of it at Fantasia or something?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they are mine too.
Did they do like a stunt show where they pretended to fight the beavers or something? Like, I saw some Instagram videos of that.
Yeah. They did like a little. They had a very energetic intro and outro.
Great, because that's the screening I'm going to be seeing with my brother and a friend of mine. But now I'm done now. That's all
Okay,
I got for my
great.
train of thought question.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be something similar.
Hope you
with
enjoy
the other
it.
ones.
Thank you. I'm seeing it on Sunday the 4th, so I'm not going to be on the Sunday stream, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, how could you?
Damn.
I think on Twitter you
And it's a
said that
12-hour
February
movie, so
or
you'll never
something.
catch any bit of it.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty incredible how much my mind changed on Poor Things from my first watch.
Did you
Like
hate
I
it?
liked it. I liked it, but like I had some issues, but like it went like 7 and then 9 and then like, oh my god, this movie is like actually perfect.
Did you have to
It was a
watch it
bit
multiple
better on
times to
sec-
get there, or did it do that in your head?
It was a bit better on a second watch.
Like it got better for me on a second watch. Like after I got out of the theater, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't like this thing, but wait, I feel like that was kind of the point.
Then I'll try
It's
that. 'Cause
like-
I had some big issues with that movie.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
felt borderline
like try
antagonistic
watching.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like give it some thought and then watch it again. Like it feels like one of those things where it's like it's Yorgos's most accessible movie, but it's also his most
hard
dense.
disagree. I think it's one of his least accessible movies. That's so funny.
I was
Like,
I was anticipating
mean-
it being one of his least accessible just as I was watching it, but it seems like everybody who's watching it is really enjoying it. Like the ratings are super high.
Yeah.
There's like 45,000 on IMDb. It's got an 8.4. It's in the top 250, which I was not expecting at all.
It got 11 Oscar. It got
Yeah,
11 Oscar.
I was not
noms, so-
expecting
Yeah,
that
but
many
Oscars are
Oscar noms or awards or anything. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was a little too controversial for like people,
yeah,
but
that's
Yeah, but then
surprising.
after the Globe Awards, I feel like it was an advance here.
yeah,
relative
the
it
reason I
seemed
say
like a bit too
territory.
mature and edgy to be
When
that.
Yeah,
it wasn't the
like-
edgy part to me, it's the meandering part to me that I feel like regular
Mm.
audiences would struggle with, where most of his movies have a
Meandering.
pretty concise, like you always know like where we're going and what we're doing.
Oh yeah, well, I
And-
mean, it's the type of structure, right? It's like it's
Right.
an adventure, like Pinocchio story,
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
feel like I clued into that like fairly. Like, sure, I thought that most of it would be with Willem Dafoe in the
Mhm.
house or whatever, but like, you know, as soon as I feel, especially with the like the title screens and chapters and like, oh, there's a new
Right.
location here. She's just kind of like
I love those
wandering
title
around.
cards.
It's about her journey and it's about her agency and her
Mhm.
growth and all that. So I feel like
And
it,
a lot
it
of
really
other
works for me.
things.
It really works for me.
That's what I've always said. I
yeah.
think the favorite is easily, in my opinion, is easily his most accessible.
I
would.
would have
I would
said
agree.
that. I would have said that without seeing these ratings.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Isn't the
it's like
lobster kind of accessible too because it's basically
Not
about
as much.
a person trying to find love?
That's my number two.
not really. Like I feel like I mean like more so in like the ability to like understand what's going on in the film. Like I took my mom to see Poor Things and she like she liked it, but more so towards like the second part when she was more in tune with its weirdness.
Well, it's also
It's
less
like,
creepy when you're not watching her as a baby.
yeah,
All of her
it's like
interactions
Baby
are
zone.
they're like extremely inappropriate when she still has like baby brain. It never
Yeah,
technically
it's-
changes, but we've gotten used to that stuff because of things like Splash or Mannequin.
yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think something I really got out of this movie was like, it's not just like about the male gaze, but it also feels like a sort of meta commentary on men writing women.
See, that's funny because people talk a lot about the sexual aspects or the, you know, the relationship aspects between men and women. But to me, like, yeah, I really vibe more with the Pinocchio thing. Like, my takeaway was it was kind of a movie to be like, I want to talk about everything. So
Mhm.
we're going to start with a character who
Same.
has no opinions on anything. And now they have to just basically, without any baggage, interact
Unfiltered.
with lots of things.
Yes.
And my, you know, like, I think it's good. It just, I had a hard time really getting invested because I picked up as well, like Adam said, there's a certain point when I started to be like, oh, this is going to be a movie of a person walking around and looking at things and going, what do I think about that? And then moving on and doing another one. And I just had a hard time giving a shit after like we got to the boat.
Are there any movies that fit that description that you like, or because that like there's a bunch of movies that kind of feel like it's about a character just going different places and learning things along the way, and it's not
You know,
necessarily about
I
because like there's a
think I
bunch.
struggle.
Yeah.
I think I struggle with them. I've been spending literally years trying to nail down. Sean Kloss used to hang out in here, and we talked about this a lot of trying to figure out what is the difference between the type of low concept movies that I like versus what makes me not like the other ones. Because I used to say like ignorant stuff like I don't like movies about nothing, but I've realized that I first off like a handful of movies that are kind of about nothing, and also even movies I think are about nothing aren't really about nothing. You know, it can just be that they're
Yeah.
about something that I find kind of low stakes. And I have that issue with romance movies sometimes where I'm like, just don't be together. It's not a big deal. Like you have not sufficiently made me care about the stakes of this film. It's like just not a big, you know, I have that issue with The Bear right now. I'm in the first season and I'm just finding myself being like, yeah, if your restaurant fails, like, okay, it's just a restaurant. Like just go work somewhere else.
Get over it.
You know, so it's like,
Just give up.
I've noticed that, yeah, like with the other, because I was very excited for Poor Things because I'm a huge Lanthimos stan. And it's like, yeah, like when you're watching Killing of a Sacred Deer, the movie very clearly states out, like, here's where we're going. So now when I watch the character do things, I can always measure, is this getting us closer to our goal or further from our goal? You know, in The Lobster, you have a thing you have to accomplish. So in this scene, is this hurting him or helping him? But in Poor Things, I kept feeling like, none of these things consequentially matter. So I just don't care what's happening because nothing is like getting us further or away from something because we're not going anywhere. And it just felt like after a while, like I said, it felt almost like purposefully he was like teasing you through the camera,
Yeah.
being like, yeah, fucker, we're still sitting here doing nothing. Yeah, deal with it. What? Like I kept trying to figure out if I could go to the bathroom at any point. And after like the last 3 scenes, I felt like nothing had been accomplished. I'm like, I could have gone to the bathroom at any point during this and it probably wouldn't have changed much.
All right, hey Chad.
What's up?
What would you say the difference to you is between Poor Things and Beau is Afraid is? Because I've seen Beau is Afraid been
Right.
described as like, oh, a person
don't
goes
know.
from place to place and
Okay, here's
it
what I
just
will say
kinda
though. When
goes
you
through set pieces.
Oh, I totally hear you. I absolutely hear you. And that's part of my point is that like I know I have this dichotomy inside of me. But what I would argue though is that Beau is Afraid does actually set you up immediately with like Beau needs to do this and here's all the things that are keeping
Right.
him from getting there. So at least when we meander, I know that like, oh no, stop wasting time. We have a thing to do. Like you got to get going to the place. So this is bad or this is good. This helped you get there.
Right.
Where in
but
Poor Things, it's like there's never like a destination set up. She doesn't have like I need to get to the, you know, if this was a bad movie, it would be like, I need to make it to America so I can go to the, you know, fucking, I don't know, whatever, and learn about myself and get on the Sears Tower
Blow
or
up
something.
the.
You know?
No,
Yeah,
no.
I just remember watching Red
Yeah,
Letter
blow up
Media.
the- I
I
have to
just
blow up
remember.
Parliament by the 5th.
Sorry, again, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just
No, you're not,
remember
you're not.
watching Red Letter Media talk about Beau is Afraid, and one of their criticisms was like, I remember Jay said, "Oh, an hour in, it feels like it's wrapping up because it's coming to the end of this
Yes,
set piece."
there's an
and then-
act that is awkward
and
as
then
hell.
the movie
Yeah.
has to restart again and go into another set piece.
Papa Meat did a breakdown on that movie, and he helped me really understand that part of that movie because I felt really strong about the first third and the last third, but the middle third is the second act. I don't know why I'm talking like that. The second act has a bit of a left turn that goes on for a long time, and I didn't immediately feel
Yeah.
like I understood why we were doing that. But
Yeah, I
after
think I know what you mean.
Yeah, so after someone else explained what was happening there, I was like, "Oh, I see. I get that now. Like that actually does make sense in the whole of like the singular plot of what we're doing. It's not just a side quest for side quest purpose."
is it just
But also
like the theater,
another
the
good
whole
example of what
theater
you're
set
talking about.
piece?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about is the theater set piece. Yeah, exactly right. But speaking of what you're saying about Beau's Afraid, that's the same thing kind of going on with the Green Knight. And the Green Knight is like filled with side quest. It's a lot of like, I'm just gonna go and do this now. I'm gonna go do this, and I fucking love that movie. And I think again, it's because the Green Knight has one very particular like, okay, at least I always know where we're going, so we can take a break from it, but at least I know we got to get back to dealing with the thing.
You just reminded me, Dave Patel has a new horror film coming out in April that just got a trailer. That's
Monkey Man?
interesting. Yeah, Monkey Man.
I haven't seen the trailer yet. I'll react to it at some point.
Good title.
Kiki, what is there more you wanted to say about Poor Things?
Yeah, it's like I guess in like the sort of talk about like the digressions in movies like these, I feel like it's almost like a way of a film sort of deliberately making us take a step back from what we think a movie is about and sort of try and engage with it in ways that we might not have expected.
Mhm.
So it's like the sort of crossroads that Bella comes to when she meets Martha and Harry Ass.
Mhm.
It's like those two attitudes of like looking at your life with sort of like fondness, but reevaluating your goals, and then just a flat out nihilistic like worldview. It's like
Philosophy's
it
bad.
really, yeah, philosophy bad. Yeah, I just find it very, very funny that Harry Astley's name is literally that for that reason.
Yeah.
Well, I love that a director who's so smart can put in a dumb joke like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like it almost grounds the movie in a way, like with The Lighthouse. It's like how can you call a movie pretentious if it's got fart jokes in it?
It's confidence. It's confidence.
perfect body
They know
armor.
that they're skilled and they're creating something substantive.
Yeah, Swiss
Yeah,
Army Man,
it's
same
like-
thing.
Yeah,
Bunch of
it's
fart
like
jokes, but the
Poor
movie kicks ass.
Things really just spoke to me so deeply after I'd thought about it. And it's like, yeah, in a way, it's like sort of talking about how little agency women had in like Victorian times, and how sort of like a lot of that stuff still unfortunately rings true today. But yeah, it's like it's timely, it's clever, it's so many different things, and yeah, it's definitely my favorite movie from him now. And in
Oh,
terms
Yeah.
of like, yeah, it's like in terms of like the whole accessibility thing, the reason I sort of questioned that was my mom's reaction to The Favorite, where I feel like the sort of political elements of it kind of didn't really fit with her, like in the grander scheme of the film and
Yeah,
like
but
what
I
that
would argue that
did.
those are really unimportant. Like it's just the MacGuffin structure of what's happening around them. The story isn't about the political stuff. It's about the battle between these three women, basically.
Yeah,
It's all
of
interpersonal.
course.
Is like the stuff that you need to walk away from and care about is the interpersonal struggle, not necessarily because we just covered Succession, and that was like a big warning I gave the girls before getting into that. Was like you may find yourself being confused as to the nature of the deals that they're doing between the businesses, but that's all set dressing. Like it's a personal story about these people.
I wouldn't say it's like totally unimportant to this story. It's kind of like how the Irish Civil War is like a piece of the Banshees of Inisherin,
Yeah,
and
okay,
how like it's kind of like almost like a backdrop shadow of what's going on to the things we sort of have to take a sort of like a
Yeah, it's more theme
foremost
connected
look
than plot
at.
connected.
Yeah, it's like that's why I definitely think like
No, I agree. It's not worthless, but if I, took my dad and he was like, yeah, I didn't get the political stuff, it's like, well, that's not the most important thing for you to have. If he walked away and said, I didn't know those characters or care about them at all, but I completely understood the political stuff going on, then I'd be like, you kind of watched the wrong half of the movie.
yeah, like that's why I definitely think like the more emphasis on characters definitely helped Poor Things in the greater
No, that's true. Poor Things does
Lanthimos
not have a muddy plot to
filmography.
get in the way.
Yeah, it's like its plot is more so like metaphysical rather than like themes to be explored within the film itself. Not to say that they don't
No, I agree.
relate to the film, but
It's a
they're
thin plot. Yeah.
they're much broader than the film itself, sort of like with Under the Skin as well. Like while the story might be simple, it's like the things you're engaging with
Yes.
go beyond the
Actually,
confines of the
I'm
film
glad.
itself.
Thanks for mentioning that because I wasn't thinking about that movie. That is actually probably like my go-to for my more favorite version of this type of movie.
Which movie?
Yeah,
Under the Skin.
Under the Skin.
Hmm.
If we're gonna do a
Okay.
Pinocchio story,
Sure.
I think that one. I don't know. Like I said, it was really just kind
I
of
did
the
that.
almost aggressive time wasting.
That's what she says.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I think of it.
Thanks for explaining, Adam. I
She's
did
like
not
a-
catch the reference.
She's a
Wait, Chad, are you saying you
baby.
didn't like Under the Skin? Like, I don't want to misinterpret you.
No, you're good. I'm saying I prefer Under the Skin.
Oh, got it. I must have misheard.
So I gotta go.
I
Before
got laundry to do. So
before I
gotta go
leave,
as well.
that
clean
thing that
my
you
house.
the thing you posted in chat, Canopy. It's like free movies with a library card sort of thing. What is this?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's free movies with a library card, and you only get like a certain amount of tickets for
Okay.
each month, and movies have varying amount of tickets.
That sounds cool. Remind me when I'm in the States. I'll probably be able to just get a library card in the States.
Yep, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll
Are
be
you
back
gonna
in like
watch
in like March.
Having fun isn't hard. when
Are you
get
gonna watch?
a
Are
library
you gonna
card.
watch 95 Senses now that I gave you the link of the whole time limit thing?
Yes. So you're saying on January 31st it's gone?
I've been told it's a limited time thing, and I think they said it's like very that like I could have sort of saw. a
Could be
tweet that said,
today, is what you're saying.
not to, maybe I don't know, but I watched it today, so it could be
Oh.
today. It could be the end of the month, so you only have a limited time to watch it. So I'm sorry if this is all confusing. It's
Sure,
just-
no,
I
that's
just saw-
fine. I just wanted to make sure that I know when it's expiring, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice hanging out with you guys. I gotta go now.
Yeah, it was nice hanging out.
Nice
Thank you
talking
so
to
much.
everyone.
Later.
Yeah,
Later.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye, everybody.